What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me, but I just got home off of an early morning flight, right? First thing through the door, I want to see my family. I love my family. You know, I'm a family man. I'm an advocate for families, right? Second thing, I got to get that hot shower because I got to throw the threads on. The threads make me feel like $1,000,000, but the third thing through my mind and all throughout the trip is that I gotta have that Tiege pack. Tiege makes my life uncomplicated. It's uncomplicated skincare for men. The first way that I started specifically was their level 1 system. It's a daily face wash to get rid of the dirt and grime on your skin. 2 times per week exfoliating scrub to get rid of the dead skin cells. An AM moisturizer with SPF 20 because you should always be protecting your skin from the sun. And a PM moisturizer to help your skin stay hydrated and healthy throughout the night. Here's the thing. My favorite part about Tiege Hanley is that every box comes with an instruction card that tells you when to use each product, how much to use, and in what order. They really making the process of achieving and maintaining amazing skin for men uncomplicated. In addition to amazing skin, members of Tiege Hanley get tons of benefits, including at least 20% off the retail price, the ability to customize your box, exclusive monthly deals, you can pause and cancel at any time, and you get free shipping. And because Tiege Hanley is sponsoring today's video, they're offering my viewers an amazing deal, right? Just click the first link in the description and you get 30% off your first box, plus a free gift. It's an amazing deal. You got to get started today. You're not out here trying to look like a Dusty. And if you travel as much as I do, which I'm sure most people don't, but you know me, I'm pushing my bag chasers in order to be in the top 5%, top 10%, top 1%. We got to make our lives uncomplicated, and Tiege Hanley is no better product. You got to look good. You got to smell good. And you can't be looking like a Dusty. Make sure you get started today. Click the link in the description. Get that Tiege pack. Feel the Tiege, my friends. What up? What's happening? It's Friday. I'm your host, Anton from AntonDaniels.com, and this is the Millionaire Morning Show. I am very thankful to be before you today on November 17th. A Friday is Friday. Man, it has been a long week. Man, it seems as though this is quite possibly one of the longest weeks of the entire year. I've been getting it. I've been grinding. Last night was the first night that I got a decent amount of sleep. I actually went to bed around 9 o'clock, somewhere between 9:30 and 9 o'clock, and I was back up at about 5 o'clock this morning. So I got close to 8 hours of sleep. Man, I'm feeling incredible. I am thankful, very, very thankful to be kicking it with you guys today. Thank you for continuing to rock out with me. Make sure that you guys tap into the Patreon. The link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Also, Tiege Hanley, 30% off your first order plus a free gift, is sponsoring the live stream. If you have not gotten your Tiege Hanley, make sure you click the link in the description. It is a phenomenal product. I would never pitch anything to you that I don't use myself, so that is awesome. On November 26th, I am going to give you a specific time inside of the Patreon over the weekend when I release the actual flyer and a link to the live stream. On November 26th, I will be conducting the Invest in Your Business series on Patreon, and I will be funding your businesses with grants that allow for you to be able to vet out whether or not it's a good business idea or not shortly after Christmas. So, beginning of December, after I go through all of the pitches and proposals, it is not a guarantee that it is going to go your way. But if I think that it's a good business idea and I give you the feedback as such, I will be sending $1,000 and $2,000 grants over to the people, and I will not take any equity in your business. So it's something that I like to do for my bag chasers. If you have not seen the previous ones, go back and watch them inside of the Patreon. And it's only for Patreon members, all right? Only for Patreon members. So I will make the instructions a lot more clear as I release the flyer and additional content over the weekend. So look forward to that. Again, the link to the Patreon is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Also, on top of that, make sure you subscribe to the channel, turn on your notifications. And if you have not already, make sure you share this with your family and friends because we don't want to be rich by ourselves. Y'all ready to get started with the show? It seems, look, hold on. Man, not only has it been a long week personally and professionally, it has been an exciting week news-wise also, don't you think? It's Friday. We not fumbling the bag. Also, on top of that, we got the tree lighting here in Detroit, I believe, is tonight. So we're going to see how that go. I don't even know if I'm going or not. I'm just excited that we've been so productive and we haven't had any misses despite all of the different things that we've had going on throughout the day and throughout the show. Let me first give an acknowledgement to the early super chatters. Let me give a shout out to Mike, that dude. Thank you, my friend. I also want to acknowledge a few super chats that came through. Let me holla at Nikki Nicole. Nikki Nicole is in the building. Says, good morning, Anton. I've been watching your channels for about a month, and it helps me on my drives as a female trucker. Shout out to all of my female truckers. She says, when can we get shirts that say we gonna get there? You know what? I have merch coming. Literally, it's dropping the beginning of the year. Merch is dropping the beginning of the year. You will get your order link sometime in December for pre-orders. And then we're going to ship them out in the beginning of the year and we're going to get it popping. So I'm very much looking forward to that. And thank you, Nikki Nicole. And I'm so glad that I'm able to add value into your life. As a matter of fact, before we continue on with the show, let me get a check in the chat for what y'all doing for a living nowadays. I know some people got some new jobs. I know other people are pivoting and they trying to get into new positions. I know some people are going back to work as a result of the UAW strike. Let me get a check in the chat to see what y'all doing for a living. What's your profession right now? What do you classify yourself as? How do you label yourself when somebody asks you, what do you do for a living? Let me know in the chat before we get started with the show. What do you do for a living so I can better understand my audience and be able to pour into you guys? Antonio Watkins says trucking. Yeah, I might go with the hoodie today. It's crazy. Alexa says she a law student. Talk to him. Attorney, a bus operator, retired sales, product manager, chef. Shout out to my chefs out here. Lawyer, baker, farmer, travel and dialysis technician, financial analysis, trades, land surveying, training, lab manager, architect, unemployed, stay-at-home mom, domestic sciences, data engineer, QA engineer, accounting, U.S. Army retired and self-employed, data architect, bookkeeper, Uber, UPS driver, trucking, senior IT analysis, developer, claims adjuster, robotic welder, registered nurse, trader, civil servant, construction engineer, thief, productive, construction, a mover, domestic labor, machine operator, contract specialist, transportation, infrastructure, work at the steel mill. Shout out to my steel mill people. Maintenance, private security, cloud engineer, hosting Diddy's parties, claims adjuster, business owner, amateur scientist / engineer, logistics, software engineer, retired investor, homeless outreach, senior QA engineer, active duty Army, house arrest, physician, pipe fitters, cops, eligibility specialist, hairstylist, confidence man, sell dresses at the barbershop, brother love escort. All right, y'all getting crazy. Shout out to Ash, the retired military truck driver / working on his degree. Shout out to Ash. I love Ash. Let me also give an acknowledgement to my dog Mike Jones in the building. Mike Jones. Love Mike Jones. Mike Jones came through with the 50 ball, says, good morning, Anton. Today is no fumbling a bag on a Friday. Your commentary on migrants leaving Chicago had me dying laughing. And those camera glasses, what are the name of them? And can I get a prescription added to them? They are the Meta Ray-Ban glasses, and you can get a prescription added to them. You can either order them online, or you can go over to your local, whatever your glasses company is. I go over to Lens Crafters. Seems as though they have them. So thank you, Mike Jones, for throwing that 50 ball into the collection plate. Thank you, my friend. I like to read the super chats throughout the show, guys. Jay Ben is in the building. Jay Ben says, dropping off a little something because the old head's mad. I'm not going to be donating to DJ Blad's GoFundMe. We getting money over here. Shout out to my dog, Jay Ben, in the building. AWOL says, say, what's up to my niece, Jamisha, the truck driving chick. She could use some of your wisdom, bro. Shout out to your niece. What up, though, niecey? Yeah, I appreciate you. Voltaic Art says graphic designer and illustrator. Okay. You should, if you're a graphic designer slash illustrator, think about going into UX UI to be a great career path for you. You just need to understand a little bit more about information technology and you can get there. How about we get started with the show? Y'all ready? I got a full show for y'all. If time permits, I am going to make sure that I drop the link into the description for you guys to ask questions or cam up if you want to. Y'all ready to get to it? I'm going to try to buzz down these subjects relatively fast so that we can allocate time for you guys to be able to come up here and ask whatever questions that you want to ask. Or if you got a disagreement, you can come up here. Listen, this show today is only for people that disagree with me. The show today is only for people to disagree with me when you want to cam up. So if you have no disagreements, just let me rock and let me address some of the concerns and the issues for the people that may or may not disagree with me. So let's go ahead and get started with the show, ladies and gentlemen. Well, I did that wrong. Quick Hits. Quick Hits is a part of the show we've added over the last 2 weeks that basically allows for us to address certain issues that's happening throughout the United States within the news, but it may not warrant a complete segment to go along with it, all right? So let's go ahead and get started with the Quick Hits, ladies and gentlemen. The first thing that I got on deck for y'all is the UAW. Shout out to Swade Taylors. I'm going to read that super chat shortly. The UAW has approved the new contract, but everybody is not happy. So many people are not happy with the new contract, and it's so amazing to me because I thought that y'all wanted to go back to work. The old heads were saying they was going back to work. The young heads said that they was going broke. So many people were saying that they were struggling as a result of it. And so now y'all feeling some type of way, and the people are saying that they not happy, so much so that it only narrowly passed. There was a lot of large plants that then rejected this contract and said that they didn't want it. But let me bring you up to speed on one of the reasons, and some of the reasons as it speaks to some of the workers and the UAW members, the leadership, speaking to some of the disgruntled employees' concerns as to why they didn't want to ratify this contract in the first place.
UAW workers across the country have been voting for the last several days on tentative contracts. And tonight, preliminary results show that GM workers approved the deal with the UAW with 54% approval nationwide. Our Michael Sandlin joins us live from outside the UAW Local 14 Hall in West Toledo. So this still hasn't been officially confirmed, has it?
No, it hasn't, Jeff. Neither General Motors nor UAW have officially confirmed that this is happening, but you can find the votes. They're officially on the website. You can see the percentages, and multiple outlets are officially declaring that this has been ratified. Right here in Toledo, UAW Local 14's president, Tony Toddy, he says he accepts the results, and his union hall here even tried to sink this contract. So looking at the results of their vote, here at Local 14, 56% of the workers and skilled tradesmen voted against this contract. And it's a similar story over at Stellantis' Local 12, with 55% of workers saying no thanks to this deal. That means both major union halls in Toledo have tried to shoot down this contract, and Toddy tells me it's because the deal benefits new workers greatly, but doesn't do as much for older staff that are closer to retirement. He also said the excitement created by UAW President Shawn Fain didn't help either, promising massive pay increases that there was no way the companies would agree to. But Toddy says in the long run, this deal will benefit his people. He's excited to roll up his sleeves and introduce it to them, but he can't help but think of what if.
You know, there's great tuition assistance in there. You know, there's great health care for everybody. You know, there's a lot of good aspects to it. What if we would have stayed out a little longer? What if we didn't go back to work until we had a ratified deal? What would that have looked like for the company to give us even more that we needed for the pensions?
Sound like Shawn Fain got a little bit of problem on his hand. The people are saying that Shawn Fain was pitching and advocating for something that he couldn't deliver, and he knew he couldn't deliver. The people are saying, listen, the OGs, they don't really care about what happened to the newer workers. That's for y'all. For them, they say, listen, it ain't enough. We wanted to stay on strike a little longer because we got a little bit more built up in the safe, and we was willing to wait a little longer in order to run the bag up. They say that the workers is disgruntled. that it's a lot of infighting within the UAW, regardless of the fact that they got over a 25% increase, cost of living adjustments, tuition assistance, higher contributions to their 401ks. They had everything. They got everything, so much so to where the GM CEO, Mary Barra, didn't even want to shake Sean Fain's hand at the end of the contract. And the people are mad and disgruntled. And so Sean Fain, in my opinion, though he's getting rich and he's getting more visibility and he's continuing to run a checkup and he's testifying before Congress, I told you that this was going to happen. I told you that there was going to be a problem and some rumblings in the room. And honestly, part of it comes with leadership. And secondly, when you start to become a figurehead and the face of something and you promising something, you're not going to be able to please everybody and the people is going to turn against you. So I think that Sean Fain got a long road ahead of him. And I also think that the person that was speaking to that UAW local leadership member, he may be positioning themselves to run for Sean Fain's job. We don't know. We're going to see what happens. So let's continue to keep an eye on that. I definitely will. Also, on top of that, thieves. Ain't nothing worse than a thief. Nothing worse than a thief. They said that these set of thieves, they look a certain way. We're not gonna talk about it. Ran into a secondhand store, a small business, and they ransacked it in a less than a minute with 4 masked men that was caught on surveillance cameras, shattering the glass cases, standing on top of them to reach the handbags on display, smash and grabs, not only at the large stores like the Louis Vuittons and all of that that's in the mall, but now they're targeting small business owners. Let me bring you up to speed of what's happening.
A small business is ransacked by thieves in mere seconds. 4 masked robbers shatter glass cases, then stand on top of them to reach all the handbags on display. The smash and grab took place at a luxury consignment shop called JJ's Closet in Old Town Spring, Texas. The high-end Louis Vuitton bags seemed to be the target as other brands remained on the shelf. You can see one of the robbers in a red sweatsuit with his pants hanging down to reveal blue underwear. The small business owners are hoping someone will be able to identify the crooks by their body build and clothing.
You mean they built like Build-A-Bears? And they got they pants down with blue. Hey, if anybody see the guy with the blue drawers on, make sure you call the police. They down there in Texas.
These are some of the pre-owned items that were taken, bags valued in the thousands. The store wants people in the area being sold bags that look like these to contact them because they can trace their inventory and determine if it was their bag. We will find a way to publish each stolen bag to make it hard for the robbers to sell them elsewhere, they shared.
Yes. Thieves with blue drawers and red joggers are now breaking into small business owner stores that may or may not be insured in order to get their bags up. Specifically, they Louis bags up, all right? So, and then last but not least, thieves are not only targeting small businesses and large businesses, but they're also targeting delivery drivers, all right?
Tonight, delivery drivers on edge after a string of robberies across the country caught on camera. In Memphis, dozens of people surrounding this FedEx truck as it was stopped in traffic, breaking the back latch before ransacking the inside and running away with as many boxes as they could hold. Even after the driver starts to pull away, thieves run after the truck, jump on it, and take more boxes.
In traffic, though, folks.
In Atlanta, an Amazon worker returning from a delivery finds several suspects sprinting up to the truck, stealing packages at random from the back. These groups overwhelming drivers in a similar tactic used by flash mobs at retail stores in cities like Los Angeles and Philadelphia.
Well, this is like my first time someone's actively jumping on a vehicle on the street.
Lifelong resident Cassius McGowan hosts a Memphis-based podcast. He says while looting at stores and on trains isn't uncommon in the area, a robbery like this is unique.
How the person who was actually working feeling in this situation, being like, how is this person going to continue to work and feel like safe, and you know this may happen again? The person.
How should I address this? Should I address it with care? Should I address it with love? Should I address it at all? Or should we just let the evidence speak for itself? Amazon workers can't even deliver Amazon packages anymore. FedEx drivers can't even drive through traffic anymore. Thieves are ransacking small businesses, large businesses. Everybody think it's cute and cool, and they know who the culprits are. And then they have to pass those costs over to the consumers, or they remove themselves from being able to deliver to your neighborhood or your household. And then you start to complain about it as though it's something that you didn't even know that was familiar, that was happening in your economy and in your community. And then we want to blame the white man for it. Then we want to blame the white man. You think it's cute. Kiki, ha, ha, ha. Seeing the people that was recording on camera, putting it on social media. They're literally moving like ants out there. They're moving at the speed of lightning and moving like ants. All for what? So you risk injury. You risk your freedom. You risk the possibility of getting a misdemeanor or a felony on your record. For what? Some headphones? Some headphones? I'm tired. I'm tired of these people, honestly. I'm genuinely tired. I mean, I believe that we need severe, and when I say severe, I mean severe consequences to the people that are doing the things that's the worst in our communities and our society. You don't even know the damage that you're causing, and it's unfortunate, and I'm supposed to have passion for them. What about having compassion for the people that get stolen from? When did we become so backwards to where we're advocating for criminals instead of advocating against criminal elements in our society? That's your quick hits, ladies and gentlemen. Again, a segment of news where we want to make sure that we address certain things that's happening in our societies, in our communities, and across the United States of America, but it may not necessarily warrant a full subject or a full deep dive into. We know who the culprits are. We know who the culprits are. Let's go ahead and read some of these super chats and let's get into the show for real, because I got a full show lined up for you guys. Swade Taylors is in the building, said, I got this fireball for you, big dog. Thank you, big dog. I appreciate you. Also says, I built fishing baits by hand, and we should talk, trust, and believe. I will not waste your time. Mike T. Send me an email, antondaniels413@gmail.com. I appreciate you, big dog. Thank you for contributing into the platform. Eric Harris says, Americans need to be tougher on crime like the 90s. And then we clean it up. You know what I'm saying? Also, my girl Queen V in the building says, it's fun to black folks. We love destruction. We headed for self-destruction. Ain't that weird how we really literally just chanted ourselves into it? We headed for self-destruction. And it was supposed to be a song that was meant for positivity. Self-destruction. We headed for self-destruction. We're in the early 90s and the late 80s. Y'all don't know nothing about that. I'm an 80s baby. I'm a little bit different. Let's get into the show. We got a little bit to cover before we really start the deep dive, because I want to go over this 35-page document by Diddy. But before I do so, let's bring another city girl mayor to the front of the congregation. Now, this mayor just so happened to be from a Metro Detroit community, not specifically from Detroit, but from a smaller city called Eastpointe that's outside of Detroit, right? And I think that city girl mayors are taking an L all across the board. All across the board. City girl mayors are taking an L all across the board. See, y'all wanted to get into it. Shout out to my dog, Ash. I'm definitely going to be reading that super chat shortly. Y'all wanted all of the visibility because you thought that it was going to pop up on your social media and you was going to get the bag on the behalf of the city and the constituents, but you didn't know that it came with a responsibility and no safety net, and that when you start to make yourself a public figure and you also start to serve the community, they're going to hold you accountable. They are going to hold you accountable. Now, I've been paying attention to this story for a little bit. I got a little bit distracted because we wanted to make sure that we addressed all of the things that was happening throughout the week. But man, what is up with y'all city girl mayors? Bamboo earrings, at least 2 pair. Let me bring you up to speed of what's happening out here in these streets.
Begin tonight with that courtroom clash between the mayor of Eastpointe and the judge during her sentencing hearing today. Monique Owens is now sentenced to 6 months probation. She also has to perform 100 hours of community service for misusing COVID-19 relief money.
Now let's stop there for a minute. Every single man that I've ever heard of that somehow, some way acquired a PPP loan and got caught as a result of it, they got heavy time. They got made an example of. They got dealt with at the highest level and they got sentenced and they are doing some time and years and they got felonies on their records, all of that. And this just tells you the bias that comes along with women in general. Seriously. Like, if we want to just be honest, we still look at women as damsels in distress. And you know, regardless of how much they say that they want to advocate for them or how sassy they are and all of this, let's not say COVID relief money. Let's just say PPP loans. We know what it is. Let's not sugarcoat it or make it anything other than exactly what it is. 6 months probation, 100 hours of community service. Come on, man. Come on, man. Everybody else is getting thrown under the bus, but we, you know, giving them just a little slap on the butt, change their diaper. Maybe they not in office no more and just let them continue to run up.
For her personal business. 7 Action News reporter Sarah Michaels is outside Macomb County Court with how Owens caused the judge to be outraged inside that courtroom.
In the 4 years that Monique Owens has been Eastpointe's mayor, she has been charged with fraud and sued by residents. You could say that it's been a rocky road, much like court Thursday morning.
Even though I pled what I pled, I know that I am not a fraudulent.
Even though in September, Eastpointe Mayor Monique Owens pled no contest for fraudulently applying for a grant, Thursday, at her sentencing, she said to cameras,
"Don't believe the allegations that you have heard about me."
The Macomb County judge didn't take that well.
Are you talking to the TV or are you talking to me as the judge?
Even the judge looked at her and said, "So you telling me that women across the board just don't take no responsibility? So you pled guilty. You said you was guilty, and you sitting here talking on camera and said, even though I pled what I pled, I'm not guilty. I'm not taking no accountability for my actions." At your sentencing, think about it, y'all. At your sentencing, which is at the discretion of the judge based off of whatever the guidelines is recommended for them, and on certain crimes, they can go outside of the guidelines. At your sentencing, you basically say, I take no responsibility. Even though I pled what I pled and I paid what I paid and I got what I got and I did what I did, I am not taking any kind of responsibility, and I'm just going to make sure that I keep on doing whatever it is that I want to do when I want to do it. And still only got community service and probation.
Because I don't think you're talking to me as the judge. And you're really telling me you did absolutely nothing wrong, and therefore this case should be proceeding differently.
This fall, the 39-year-old mayor was charged for falsely stating on a
Topo, who is this woman? Because this woman looked a little bit different than the woman that was just on that Zoom call. Y'all just change shapes like that? Y'all change hair colors, change shapes, change teeth, change makeup, change eyelashes, change eyebrows, change titties, change weight. You in a different weight class. Now you heavyweight instead of lightweight, middleweight. Harpo, who is this woman? And who are these filters? What are these filters on this? Y'all just shape change. You a whole nother person. You can just change your identity from picture to picture, year to year, month to month, Zoom call to Zoom call. Harpo, who is this woman? Okay, y'all tell me, is this woman the same woman as that woman? Harpo, who is this woman?
Stating on a 2020 CARES Act grant that her business, Naturally Funny Talent Agency, was 51% veteran-owned. It's not, and that it had more than 100 employees. It doesn't. Owens received $10,000 from the grant and in September was ordered to pay that money back in restitution. which she did. The crime adds to Owens' tumultuous time in office. She's also being sued by Eastpointe residents for suppressing citizen comments in 2022.
I'm here in support of Councilman Curley.
Okay, you know what? I'm gonna stop you right there, or we're gonna stop the council meeting.
Are you disappointed in the mayor?
Very, very disappointed.
Owens made history in 2019 as the city's first black mayor.
Are y'all going to continue to vote people in based off of identity politics, or are y'all going to start actually voting people in that's credible enough to be able to do the job? You know, these jobs ain't for play, right? These jobs are real jobs that the city and the residents and the children and bond ratings and taxes and property taxes and infrastructure updates and allocation of y'all do know that these are real jobs. Like, this ain't for play, right? You can't vote people in based off of identity politics. Enough with, are we over the awards? Just asking a question. Are we now done with awards? Are we done with the fact that y'all want to be the first black woman to get elected, the first gay mayor, the first one that got braids, the first one that's wearing dreads, the first one that's short, the first one that's tall, the first virgin mayor? Are y'all done with y'all first, or are y'all going to start voting people in based off of their ability to be able to do the job effectively? Just curious. Are we tired of being, we want to see someone in there that look like us, or you want the person that's going to do the best job for your city to make sure that you got what you need in order to get back and forth to school in the morning? Are we done with this now? Are we finally done with having these conversations about diversity, equity, and inclusion? Just curious. Because she's disappointed, but you're the one that voted her in, ma'am. Just as much as we're holding these city girl mayors accountable, we also need to be holding the people accountable that voted her in office. Are y'all going to stop staying on code and start voting people in based off of what makes sense? Or y'all going to still vote based off of identity politics? It's a majority black city, so I want to see a majority black mayor.
Tanja Price says that she has lived in Eastpointe for 10 years and was thrilled to vote for Owens 4 years ago. Now, after years of drama, she says that she's glad to see Owens' term coming to an end.
I found that very offensive. I think that if you do something wrong, if you really have a change in heart, a change in your ways, what's to smile about?
Price is referring to this smile in court Thursday. I reached out to Owens for comment and did not hear back. The judge ultimately sentenced her to 100 days of community service and 6 months probation, along with a few choice words.
Personally, I think you are a disappointment to our community and to the citizens of Eastpointe.
And this week, Eastpointe has elected a new mayor, Michael Kleinfeld. He has said that his top priority as mayor will be to improve the perception of Eastpointe.
All right, so let me see something. Who is Michael Kleinfeld? Let's see who Michael Kleinfeld is. Just want to see for myself. Michael Kleinfeld, mayor of Eastpointe. So y'all decided to vote the city girl out, and y'all got in Michael. All right, so this is what Michael looked like. This is Michael Kleinfeld. Let's judge him based off of his look, since we all gonna vote people in based off of identity politics. Lived in the city for the past 30 years. Relationships developed irreplaceable. Eastpointe isn't defined by our borders, defined by decent and caring people. Learned the importance of civil service from my parents. Father is a veteran, served in Saudi Arabia. Mother joined the school board 25 years ago and continued to fight for the community. Respect for the neighbors. Volunteering was a student at East Detroit High School. Co-chair Blanket Days, which is a collection of dry for coats. Senior Citizens Committee created a shoveling program with the senior care so seniors could call in when they needed help clearing their sidewalks. Fundraising, attending meetings for the senior center. Settled on a new coffee cart. Career path. Continued in the vein of public service. Law school. Served on the board of directors of Free Legal Aid Clinic, a FLAC nonprofit organization that provides legal services to low-income seniors and victims of domestic violence. worked as a legislative aide at the state level, assistant prosecuting attorney in Wayne County. Tough job, but there's nothing more rewarding and advocated for those that can't advocate for themselves. Involved in Civil Service Commission, Art and Cultural Diversity Commission, Housing Commission, 8 Mile Kelly Homeowners Association, Tax Reversion Committee, Ethics Ordinance Committee, currently serving as a board member for the Recreation Authority of Roseville and Eastpointe, participate in the litter cleanup events throughout the Beautification Commission, and continue to maintain a flower bed that he adopted at 10 Mile and Gratiot. Running for Eastpointe mayor, privileged to serve as mayor pro tem on city council from 2015 to 19. Know the job. It took time to learn it. Proud of our city. There's more to be accomplished. I remain committed to investing in infrastructure, ensuring efficient and transparent spending, strengthening the bonds that make us a community, promise to maintain respect and work with others to meet their goals. I know I could build a bright future if we work together. So that was his pitch for mayor, and he won mayor. And so this is who it is that's serving as the mayor of Eastpointe to replace the city girl. All right. And there you go. There you go. All right. So that is the new mayor of Eastpointe. I'm pretty sure he's going to be forgetful. And forgetful is probably a good thing because you don't want to really be in the news as a city girl or a city boy mayor. You know what I'm saying? Let me read a couple of super chats and then we're going to continue over with the show. My dog Ash came through. Says, AD, you already know how I feel. I'm tired of ninjas. I will land there. God bless you, Rita, and your daughter. I love you and salute. Salute to my dog, Ash. Thank you for holding us down in the show. Kung Fu Hustler says, we need a 10-year minimum sentence for crime and on-the-spot deleting if caught in the act. Now, you know they're going to cancel you for saying that, Kung Fu Hustler. That is not politically correct. We got to be politically correct, not actually talk our mind, do we? Let's go ahead and continue with the show. I want to bust through this stuff really quickly so we can get to the meat and potatoes of what we want to talk about, and I can drop the link in the chat for you guys, all right? NYC, sponsored by Tiege Hanley, 30% off your first order plus a free gift. I talked to you guys yesterday, and I told you that budget cuts was happening all across the city of New York City, right? Budget cuts was happening all across the board for New York City. Now, we have some more details of exactly where those budget cuts are going to come. And I have to warn you, for my New Yorkers and for everybody that decide to go and visit New York, it's not going to be a pretty sight. Let me share with you some of the details, and let me share with you what the mayor had to say as to why he had to make the budget cuts in the city that ultimately is going to affect the residents. Make sure you hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, turn on your notifications. I see that there's over 1,500 people in here and growing, but the likes are very, very low. Get the likes up. Let's continue to run the show up. Let's do what we do, ladies and gentlemen.
We're learning more about the steep budget cuts coming from Mayor Eric Adams, calling for 5% cuts in every department, including public safety. This as he continues to make a public appeal for the federal government to step up and help offset the cost of the migrant crisis. Fox 5's Lizette Nunez joins us now from outside City Hall with what the mayor is asking for. Good morning, Lizette.
Good morning, Dan. Well, the budget cuts are far-reaching. We're talking every city agency will be impacted, and this goes into effect immediately.
We're in some serious financial trouble right now.
Mayor Adams making these remarks at a town hall after the city announced major budget cuts. Adams says the migrant crisis is to blame as it continues to put a strain on New York City resources.
The national government should be picking up this tab, and it should not be coming out of the backs of everyday New Yorkers. That is.
So, let's put it in perspective. He's blaming Biden. Let's cut through all of the BS. Let's just get straight down to it. Without saying no names, they sneak dissing like they Richard Fain out here in the building. Y'all know Rich is over there still feeling some type of way. Every day, listen, let me tell you about Rich real quick. And I want to draw the parallel between Rich and Eric Adams. Rich was over there talking about how he only spend this little bit amount of time on YouTube and stuff like that. Rich don't think I'm paying attention. And I ain't got no smoke for Rich personally, but I just want to point out the similarities. Rich is creating videos and live streaming day and night. I seen him on a live stream last night. I seen him on a live stream yesterday morning. Rich is out here putting out so many videos all of a sudden, trying to run that bag up. Shout out to Rich, working hard. with his passive income ass. And then he want to keep throwing little sneak disses in there in between like I ain't paying attention. Rich, I see you, big dog. Hey, shout out to Richard Fain. Tell him I said what up, though. You know me, I just say it exactly what it is. I just call it like it is. I just say the names. He over there speaking with forked tongue, working hard, working his ass off, doing live streams all of a sudden. Rich used to just drop videos. Now all of a sudden he doing live streams. I mean, he going live in the daytime and in the nighttime. Got different backgrounds, don't know how to do a thumbnail. But Rich is taking care of business and Rich is getting to that bag. He working his ass off just like me, right? Shout out to Richard Fain. Oh, but the similarities between Richard Fain, the similarities between Rich and Eric Adams. Rich, we just joking. Don't worry about it, Rich. Don't take it personal. You 55, you retired, you still working your ass off. Don't worry about it. Richard Fain and Eric Adams are very similar because they don't want to just call it out by name. If you got something on your mind and get it off your chest, big dog, don't sneak this. Eric Adams should be saying, you notice that too, Noble Xavier? Eric Adams should be saying Biden is not. Just like Richard Fain should be saying, Anton is upsetting me, and now he's forcing me to go live every single day and night at the same time. He should be saying, it's Biden. Biden is not giving us the money that we need in order to make sure that these migrants is taken care of. Well, Eric Adams, listen. You can't start tapping into our pockets because it's not Biden's money. It's our money. It's our money. It's not Biden's money. It's our money. It's the taxpayers' money. See, New Yorkers should be the only ones that suffer as a result of your bad leadership because they're the ones that voted you in. I actually think that Biden did the right thing. This is one of the rare things that I support Biden on. Biden said you can't get $1 out of the taxpayers of the United States of America. We gonna send their dollars over to Ukraine. We gonna make sure that the military budget, as far as supporting Israel and any other outside entity, we gonna make sure we give all of our dollars out to other people, but we definitely not giving it to you. We ain't giving it to you. We ain't giving it to Denver. We ain't giving it to Chicago. We ain't giving it to Atlanta. We ain't giving it to none of y'all sanctuary cities. Y'all the ones that said that y'all was a sanctuary city. The rest of the United States of America shouldn't have to share in your pain. But he's blaming it on the migrants. He said, listen, we're going to have to take a cut. Everybody taking a haircut except for me. He not necessarily taking no 5% cut in his pay, but he's definitely making sure that he's making every department take a haircut. Let's continue.
It's wrong, and that is what is happening.
The budget cuts mean that the police force would be reduced to under 30,000, the lowest number in decades. Plus, impose a hiring freeze on the NYPD that would postpone 5 new classes of incoming officers. The PBA president calling it a disaster at a time where officers are already stretched thin.
We have a crisis in this city. We do not have enough police officers.
Other departments will also be impacted. The FDNY will be asked to reduce overtime costs. Any civilian vacancies will be eliminated, as well as light-duty firefighter positions.
As the mayor has said, we're concerned about, this fiscal crunch, the migrant crisis, and what it's going to do to our bottom line. Right now, our main objective is to make sure that we are protecting life and property, which is our mission. We can still do that, even with these budget cuts, but it does mean that some important programs will have to wait.
As for the Department of Education, $1 billion will be slashed over the next 2 years. Middle schoolers will see reduced hours for the Summer Rising program, and thousands of pre-K spots will be cut. This comes as New York City Public Schools saw its first bump in enrollment in years. 8,000 additional students have been added to the school system. City libraries will not be spared from cuts. Library leaders say starting next month, most of their branches will be forced to close on Sunday.
So one of the reasons, the context for this is, one of the reasons why they got a bump was because they have more migrants enrolling in their school system. So now teachers are even more overwhelmed. You have more students, a smaller budget, and then you also have a worse, smaller police force. So city services is basically going to crap. Let's think about this for a minute. The fundamentals behind a great city. Maybe I do need to run for office for one of these local communities and show y'all how it's done. The fundamentals for a great city is as such. If you want growth in your city, if you want to have a productive city, if you want people to be able to move there, if you want them to start to invest in their own communities, because again, it does not go without partnership from other community leaders, such as business people, homeowners, people that want to live, work, and play and spend their dollars and keep the community robust by continuing to have their monies rotating within a community. And if you want to have any city thrive, there's three main things that you need to have. Three main things that are the foundation of every great city. If you fix these three things, if you allocate all of your energy as leadership into these things, instead of all of these things that keep you distracted, they keep doing turkey drives, they keep giving you parades, they keep giving you all of these trinkets and showing these nice things in front of you. But the reality is that there's three things that you need to do and that you need to focus on as a community leader and a servant of the public that is being paid by taxpayers within that community. And it's three main things that you need to fix. The first thing is that you have to fix is you have to make it safe, meaning that an investment and a meaningful investment into recruiting, training, and then making sure that neighborhoods feel safe, are safe, and that you're driving down crime. That is the number one thing that you need to make sure of, is that you have to get behind whomever it is that's running the police department and make sure that things are safe. Because if people don't feel safe, they will not go into a community. The second thing that you have to make sure you do is you have to make sure that you empower whomever it is that's running the school system and give them every tool and resource that they need in order to make sure that education, when parents move into a community and when they stay for an extended period of time, they do so because of the school system. It's one of the first things that people look at when they're going to move into a community. What is the schools like? Because even when I teach all inside of the Patreon, who are you vetting for? Who do you want inside of your properties? You want to give precedence for people that have smaller children and they are working adults. Why? Because they're more invested in that community and they're less likely to uproot their children and move to a completely different community based off of the fact that they want their children to have stability and go to the school system that they're invested in. Safety, schools. Third thing that you want to have in any community in order to make sure that the city thrives is public transportation. I know that y'all don't think that this is a good thing, but it is. It is a really good thing because you then empower people to be able to make adjustments, live, work, and play all in the same area. Again, from a business perspective, you want to keep all of the dollars circulating in the community. Secondly, you want to empower people to be able to get back and forth and not be dependent on other things that will then take resources away, such as sending money over into the finance companies. You want to make them interdependent on themselves. If you get them a great public transportation system, being able to get to and from, right? Which means that you have to invest in infrastructure. That's one of the reasons why you're investing in infrastructure. If you give them a good public transportation system, you also give them the ability with good public transportation systems to be able to find jobs, get out, go back and forth, bring money and resources back into the community, which means that you have to spend more money invested in infrastructure. And then you also give them great education, right? Because everybody wants their children to have great schools. And then last but not least, you have to focus on public safety. Those are the foundations of a great city, not turkey drives, not senior community care, not any of those things. When you cut out all of the fat from the government budget and you allocate all of the resources into going into the things that's meaningful instead of all of these different things that don't really mean anything, that keeps people voting the wrong way instead of understanding exactly how a city is supposed to run, you will then start to find yourself at the forefront of a thriving community. And it's not going to remove every single thing that is wrong with a city, but it's the foundation that allows for people to be able to thrive in any community. It is those three things. If you fix those three things and you recruit accordingly into those sectors within the city, everything else will start to thrive around it. If the soil is rich, then the flowers will grow. And you have to weed out the bad actors in order to allow for everybody else to thrive within that community. If you do not have those three things, you will fail. You cannot cut your way over into success. You cannot lay off your way over to success. You cannot then cut city services. You can't cut sanitation, education, public safety. That is a no-win situation, and it is a surefire path on your way down to destruction in order to bankrupt the city eventually. And it's not going to come on his watch. It's going to come on the watch of whoever it is that replaces him, because he's the foundation of what is wrong with the city in the first place. I'm telling you, those are the things that force a city to start to put itself in a position to thrive. You will then have better bond ratings. You will then have a better community service leadership. You will have business partners that want to invest in it because they understand that you're actually working on behalf of the citizens, and then they want to get the incentives in order to continue to bring jobs there. You start to make the right public tax cuts, which then start to bring more investment into your city, because if you work with the business owners, they then will bring more people into the city that are on the payrolls that then pay more city taxes, and they start to live, work, and play in all in the same community because they don't have to commute inside and out in order to get there for their job. That's how you run a city. So for every mayor, every city council person, every governor, if you want to understand the fundamentals of how to run a city and not just play politics in order to make the people to continue to vote you in, and you want to do a good job, then that is the foundation of it. Pitch it to your constituents, talk to the people, help them to understand how you're going to make them safer. Develop a 5-point plan of how you're going to start to get the education system better. Make sure that you start to invest in an infrastructure that allows for people to actually be able to thrive, live, work, and play all in the same city. And they will vote you in, and they will love you, and you will do a good job, and you will have a great legacy within that city. They will build statues after you. That is why you need people that understand things from a business perspective and how to allocate resources into going to the same places. Just tell them the truth. You don't have to even sugarcoat it. You don't have to start to lean on some kind of community issue or Black Lives Matters or some public. Man, listen, tell people the truth. They will understand what you're saying, and they will vote for you, and they will make sure that you have a job that you can serve the community in.
And the Department of Sanitation will also be feeling the impacts. There will be fewer litter pickups, and the mayor urging New Yorkers to clean up after themselves and help up with any cleanup, which is a similar message he sent when the incoming class of school safety agents was cut. Happening later today, there will also be a rally here with elected leaders as well as union leaders who will be opposing these cuts. That's the latest here from City Hall. We'll send things back inside.
Let me pivot. Let me show you another view of what's happening in the city. A better outlook and picture for exactly what's happening over in New York City.
Major budget cuts are coming to New York City agencies. Mayor Adams unveiled details today, including cuts to the NYPD.
Now, look at this for a second. Now, consider the three things that I broke down for you guys as far as the fundamentals of what make a city great, right? Look at the exact opposite that's happening out here in New York based off of how y'all continue to vote into people based off of identity politics, okay? Fewer cops on the street, that's number one. Fewer litter bins and cleanup programs. Basically, what they want to do is they want to cut sanitation as though New York don't already have a rat problem. Pre-K and 3K among education cuts. Is this not the weirdest thing that you've ever seen in your entire life? Doing the opposite and expecting to get better results?
Will drop the number of police officers patrolling the streets to the lowest number since the 1990s. Also, fewer litter baskets on street corners and fewer resources for cleaning up vacant lots and greenways. Cuts to education programs, including pre-K and 3K, and more cuts.
And tonight we're hearing from New Yorkers about how these cuts could impact the quality of life.
CBS 2's Lisa Rosner on the Upper East Side with this part of the story. Lisa?
Well, Dana and Dick, many New Yorkers we spoke to are disappointed by the cuts, concerned about safety and cleanliness. And as you mentioned, there will be fewer litter baskets on the streets like this one here on 2nd Avenue and 86th Street. You can see even with it here, there is still trash on the street.
It used to be cleaner. I think it's terrible.
New Yorkers and tourists alike told us
Now, if you've ever visited New York City, I know that there's a lot of people that have, there's a lot of people that haven't. This is a normal sight in New York, right? Now, remember, as far as I know, and I could be wrong because I'm a C student, so forgive me a little bit, Tokyo has more people within the city than New York. There's estimated to be 8 million people that live in New York. This, what you see right here, is a common scene on every single block and street for New York City. Sanitation and cleanup is a multi-billion-dollar industry, especially in New York. New York has a rodent problem. And what Mayor Adams is suggesting is that we make cuts to sanitation inside of the city of New York. This is why I could never move there. As much as I love the culture, as much as I love the people, as much as I love the opportunities that come along with there, it's the taxes and the way that the leadership is running the city that just drives people away from it.
noticed more trash in the city, and it's likely about to get worse. A $5.5 million cut to sanitation means there will be fewer litter baskets. And it's not just concerns about a dirty city, but a potentially dangerous one. Also being cut, the next 5 classes at the police academy.
Nobody wants the cops to do anything, and now you're going to cut them more.
The number of officers is expected to drop by around 5,000, from nearly 34,000 to 29,000 in the fiscal year that starts next July. The Police Benevolent Association president saying in part, this is truly a disaster. Cops are already stretched to our breaking point, and these cuts will return us to staffing levels we haven't seen since the crime epidemic of the 80s and 90s. We cannot go back there.
Let's read that again. This is truly a disaster. Cops are already stretched to our breaking point. These cuts will return us to staffing levels we haven't seen since the crime epidemic of the 80s and the 90s, and we cannot, absolutely cannot go back there. It's going to look like The Warriors. Have y'all ever seen the movie The Warriors? Have y'all ever seen The Warriors? Dame says, Anton, can you explain how Mayor Adams sees benefits in these cuts? I don't think he sees benefits. I can't explain this craziness. If you didn't see the repercussions that was going to come along with this, especially as it relates to all of the money that they were allocating over into the migrant crisis, if you didn't see that this was going to take place a long time ago, you the fool. You the fool. Y'all didn't see this coming. Y'all didn't hear me warning y'all all year since the beginning of the year. You didn't hear me bringing this to the front of the congregation and saying that this was going to happen. I told you that this was going to happen. I warned you. That's why they call this the Millionaire Morning Show, is because we figure out where it all comes back to the money. See, when we have conversations, we're not having conversations based off of politics. We're having conversations based off of where it comes back to the money. The 3 things that I laid out for you guys is the foundation for a thriving city based off of finances and resources. This was going to happen. This was always the plan. And if me, a C student, can say that this was going to happen, and I've been predicting this since this guy got in office, how wasn't they able to see it? So I'm able to see it when y'all elected him. I warned y'all with regard to Eric Adams, Brandon Johnson, and every last one of these politics that's being elected into office, and you called me crazy. You said that I didn't know what I was talking about. Okay, well then now you have to lay in the bed that you made for yourself, because your schools is getting cut, public safety is trash, more rats is going to be on the street, and everybody don't really pay attention to what's really happening because they are literally sheep, and you guys are just walking right into the mire, right into the buzzsaw. Right into the buzzsaw. You can't see that this was going to happen? We didn't predict that this was what was going to play out? And your schools are being overrun because you're going to have more students, which means that each teacher is going to have more students in each classroom, which is going to lower the quality of learning within these environments. Welcome. Let me move over for a second. I want to pivot because I want to stay with New York City real quick. I'm gonna get with you, Anastasio. Thank you for the super chat. I'll read those shortly. I want to pivot for 1 second. I want to move over. So I follow a YouTuber that basically documents every single thing that's happening in New York City. I must confess, I don't watch relationship podcasts unless it's my own. I gotta confess, I don't really know what's going on in the rap culture and the rap community unless you guys send it to me in an email. I'm not familiar with whatever the latest modern woman is doing because we too busy running the bag up. But I do. And what is in my algorithm is some of the most productive conversations and YouTubers and content creators across the face of this planet. And I watch some YouTubers that basically document, put together, highlight. It's a couple different things that I like to watch that's not necessarily related to the money. I like to watch animal videos, so the National Geographics, and seeing how lions hunt and tigers and alligators and Discovery channels and all of that. I do watch that. And I watch car channels. I love car channels. Shout out to Scooby Don. I'm going to be reading that super chat shortly. So I like to stay up to date on whatever the latest news as it relates to electrification and exotic cars and what cars is being introduced and what is Kia and Hyundai doing and what the latest brands is. I'm watching the latest Lucid Gravity, which is the SUV that just dropped. And so I've been looking at that. And so my guilty pleasure and the thing that I like to understand is A, what comes back to the money, B, what's going on with animals, and C, cars, right? Those are my things. That's basically what shows up on my algorithm. But I do like to watch some phenomenal YouTubers that basically document different things that's happening within the community and societies. Some of them bigger, some of them smaller, but they definitely are doing some great things. And so I want to introduce you to one of the platforms that I like to watch on a regular basis, right? And this guy's name is Cash Jordan. Cash Jordan basically documents every single thing that's happening in New York City. And so what popped up on my algorithm today was basically how New York City is also engineering a way to make homeless people uncomfortable. Let's continue with the show.
What the heck are these things? And why are there 5 of them? So this looks like a metal covering for the subway vent, which is underneath it. At first I thought it was a bench, but you can really only sit on this corner of it. You'll notice that the top of this is incredibly uneven, and then there's these raised ridges which are on all 5 of them. And what happens if you try to lay down on it? Is that even possible? Oh, that is like the most uncomfortable thing I've ever experienced. This ridge right here is going into my spine, and that's on purpose, and this is called hostile architecture. And critics of hostile architecture say that usually these types of installations are cruel and unnecessary because they target the needy. And we're gonna look at a whole bunch of examples of this. Subway benches that serve no purpose, a train station designed to make you go crazy, and several parks that look nice, but were designed to be so uncomfortable that you'll leave after 5 or 10 minutes, and they're all here in New York. Now, hostile or defensive architecture consists of public installations like this, which are designed to do one thing while preventing another thing. This right here is a normal uncovered subway grate, and in the wintertime when it's cold out, someone with nowhere to go might want to use an area like this to help keep warm because warm air comes out of here. And right now, New York City is experiencing record homelessness. And lately, both private developers and the city have been building all sorts of things like this, but they've got to be really sneaky about it because when I found out what these were, it made me pretty uncomfortable to realize that they were specifically designed to stop people who have nothing from staying warm in the wintertime.
So, what they're doing is introducing hostile architecture. Instead of having a solution for homeless people to go somewhere in order to get themselves back together, get back on track, and then ultimately becoming taxpaying citizens, which should be the objective that we have, or having to allocate resources towards police officers or whomever it is that own private property to have to shoo them away or prevent them from being able to stay there or sleeping on grates, because I'm passionate about homelessness. I think that homelessness and fatherless homes are the 2 most important issues one of the most important issues on a national level that's plaguing and affecting this country. Homelessness and fatherless homes, okay? And so instead of New York City, right, dealing with things based off of the core root of the problem, they're solving for their issues, especially as it relates to them being a tourist destination, by having hostile architecture, which basically makes it uncomfortable for you as a homeless person or for a person that has nothing to do what you've traditionally done in order to keep yourself warm or comfortable throughout the United States of America, or specifically New York. So they create these grates and they create these situations, even the benches. They put the handles, the rails, to where you can't lay on the whole bench. If you do sit there, then you have to sit in a small spot upright, and it makes you very uncomfortable, which would then incentivize you to leave. Those grates that basically give breathing to the subway would then prevent you from actually laying on it to get warm, especially at night or in the wintertime, because they have these grooves in it that basically punish your body, and it makes it uncomfortable for you to sleep on them if you are a homeless person, right? And again, I am passionate about this. I do not believe in van life. I do not believe in the fact that you have to be in this country and you have to sleep on the pavement overnight because for whatever reason, right? And I think that it is a literal crisis. The crisis before the migrant crisis was a homelessness crisis that largely was going undressed all across the United States of America, especially over in California. Especially over in California. The crisis before the crisis was the fact that we had homelessness and tent cities and van life. When you seen van life starting to explode on YouTube, I automatically knew, okay, so this is just going to get bad. This is really going to get bad. And so in order for them to address an issue without actually having to be vilified as a result of it, they just engineer a different solution instead of saying that we need to get rid of the homelessness because we don't want tourists bothered by all of these people that's on the street begging and pleading for something to eat every day.
Is that okay? And sometimes when cities build stuff like this, people find out and get really upset. And that's what happened 2 years ago when the city started introducing hostile architecture to the 6th Avenue subway stop. And it looks like a normal subway station, but it was the site of heated controversy when the city subway, the MTA, introduced hostile architecture to this station. A couple of years ago, riders noticed that the benches in this very same platform were suddenly removed. And as you can imagine, people were not happy about that. Not only because of how cruel it might seem towards certain individuals, but also because the elderly, people who are pregnant, there's other people that need benches in the subway too, and this was a quality of life hit for everybody on this platform. And the benches were originally along this wall, and look at what the replacement is. Is this even a replacement? I mean, you can lean on it. I guess this is better than leaning yourself against the wall, which might be dirty. It has spots for 4 leaners. Now, there are 2 benches in this platform, which were put back after the city realized that their decision had outraged people. But even these have elements of hostile architecture in them. Look at these armrests. All you can do is sit here. You can't lay down. This is only like 2 feet wide. Its only purpose is for sitting. It is hostile to any other intended use. Look, you can't even be that wide in here. Some people even suggested the city had violated the Americans with Disabilities Act by removing the benches. And this isn't the first time the city had done something like this. Check this out. A year earlier, the city had removed all of the seat backs from the benches on a subway station just a couple blocks south of this one. The city claims that once they did that, they saw a reduction in the number of people loitering on the platform, along with an increase in the number of passengers who were on the platform waiting for trains. But by removing the seat backs from the benches that were already there, they essentially did exactly what this is by creating something that's less functional and lowers everyone's quality of use when they're in the subway. And I'm noticing that this is a trend because look at all the people standing with nowhere to sit. You see these concrete patches right here? There was something here. It was probably a bench. It looks to be about that wide. There's one other over here by the door, and there are no benches anywhere else. Just one more spot to lean right over there. And before we look at how now the city is using these same type of designs at a brand new train station and a bunch of public parks. It's important to understand that this is exposing the dark side of this type of architecture, because there might be benefits as far as the orderliness of the subway system is concerned, but New York City gets pretty cold in the wintertime, and the subway is a place where needy New Yorkers go when they have nowhere else to go so that they don't freeze. And yes, the city has shelters, but they have a rather poor reputation, and because of New York's asylum crisis, the shelter system's already maxed out. And since the shelters are perceived as being dangerous, it makes tons of sense that people would rather take their chances in a place like this. And removing subway benches doesn't do anything to make people less homeless. They're still homeless, even if you remove the benches, and they've still got nowhere to go. And most critics of these types of policies, they want a clean subway too, but they don't really think it's fair to take from people who already have so little. And the city.
So y'all gonna have to make a decision. Because I agree with you, No Cap Finance. Y'all gonna have to make a decision. Because most people will say, well, and this is the dilemma that the people have, okay? Most people will say, well, I want a safer city, or I don't want homeless people that bother me, or whatever, so on and so forth. But very few people actually want to solve for it. You're right, No Cap Finance. It was not meant for a bed. It's not meant for a bed. So there's two things that you basically have to solve for. And I see over 1,900 people in here, and we're going to continue to get the likes up because the likes is looking a little bit anemic. There's two things that we want to solve for here. A, you need to solve for homelessness in general, because Cash Jordan is correct. Just because you can't lay on the benches does not mean that you necessarily solve for the homelessness crisis. One of the issues that came along with the migrant crisis, and the reason that they allocated it as a crisis, was so that they can hopefully get federal dollars designated to them, and also give absolute power to the mayor to be able to make decisions on behalf of what happens during this migrant crisis, and to allocate funds and resources towards the spaces that they need to be in. Shout out to J Dubs. I'm going to read that shortly. But the other side of the conversation is those resources should have been allocated to making sure that you put people in a better position to then get themselves out of homelessness, in which you invest in people, and then they then start to spend their tax dollars and investing back into the city by becoming tax-paying citizens. The goal to solving homelessness has nothing to do, and there's always going to be poor among us. I understand that. The goal for solving homelessness is to put people in a position to be able to help themselves. It's not always just to give people a place to stay. It's not for free housing, because we already seen how housing projects basically create crime. It doesn't necessarily solve for the problems of people being low income. You have to give people opportunity, and then you have to continuously be reinvesting in the rehabilitation of their lives if they start to fall between the cracks, because it then starts to become a burden on everybody else, because they have to then continue to allocate their resources and their tax dollars and their uncomfortable lifestyle and form of living to supporting then a group of people who basically is going to be that way until the end of their time. This is why it's important to reinvest in America. This is why it's important for us to, we don't have, and shout out to Cash Jordan. I'm going to move on from that because I got to go ahead and get, continue with the show. The reason why America can't take on more people, but I do believe that immigration, legal immigration, should be a good thing, because we want the best and brightest of everywhere all across the world. But we should not be responsible for taking care of other people when they country and their elected officials and whoever it is that they have in office should be taking care of them. They need to solve for their own homes. You got to solve for your own home. You got to get the beam out of your own eye before you start to have any conversations about what you can do for somebody else. The reason why America needs to put America first. Am I about to run for president? You know what I'm saying out here in these streets? The reason why America needs to put America first is because we don't have capacity to be able to solve for anybody else's problems before we solve for our own. We don't have the capacity to solve for anybody else's problems before we start to put things in place to solve for our own. We have issues with regard to our budgets. We got issues with regard to homelessness. We got to solve for these motherless homes or these fatherless homes. We need to reinvent where we allocating our resources as far as these family court laws and these child support laws where billions of dollars is being allocated into places that they're not supposed to be. Social programs is now becoming a lifeline instead of becoming a rehabilitation tactic to help people get back on their feet. We don't have the infrastructure, the laws, the leadership. We don't have the capacity to be spending on nobody else. We need to cover our borders and invest more money into our infrastructure. It's failing. Our bridges is failing. Our people are failing. Inflation is high. We don't make anything anymore. And now all of a sudden, everything that we do is based off of making money out of thin air. And that's why y'all got this mindset that y'all need to become interdependent on banks in order to continue to create money. That's not how a thriving economy and a thriving society works. It's not. That's not how it works. You can't create something out of nothing and then think that it's going to continue to not be anything more than a pyramid scheme or a Ponzi scheme. That's not how it works. It's all interconnected. Whether y'all agree with it or not, and this is one of the reasons why y'all need to get on board with this mindset that I have, that I continue to preach to y'all. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat, is because we're all interconnected, similar to Avatar. What you do affect me and what I do affect you. So when you rob your brother, then it then turns into you creating a generational curse. They then create more children that we then have to pay taxes on in order to make sure that we create a system to keep them either in jail making license plates so that they can somehow, some way show themselves to be productive citizens, while at the same time funding a prison system that's then incentivizing you to continue to create rap songs that then drive more people into poverty, that then turn into crime, and then they start to get payday loans, and then you get in a position where you then start to vote based off of being under duress, and then it all comes back to me because they're saying that they want to tax the rich, and then I create another system because I'm smart enough to understand, well, rich is not ever going to pay taxes because I just need to reinvest in myself. So the money never circulates back to the people, and then y'all start getting mad, and then you over there and you want to protest and you want to strike and you say you want $25 an hour and you work at the Waffle House, and then we start to close the Waffle House because I'm not about to pay you $25 an hour. I'm just going to out innovate you. Then we start to see more technology taking place, and then AI is going to start to replace you. You start having less. You start having less. We start getting rid of the middle class. Rich people get richer. Poor people get poor. We never actually continue to make things better. And so as a result, we start to bring more migrants over here in order for them to fill the jobs that you don't want to do because you entitled and you don't want to continue to do what you're supposed to do. But then you send your child over here to get student loan debt, and then they start to vote wrong because they believe Biden is going to take care of their student loan debt and going to forgive them. But Biden never did it. And then the Congress members is holding you hostage. And then the government is going to say that we want to continue to shut the government down because we all divided. And then you're going to say, well, you're not black enough because you voting based off of being Republican. But the Republican actually understands that we need smaller government, but he can't communicate that effectively. And so as a result, it all comes back to me, and then it goes back to you, and it turns into a blame game until you have to reset the whole system because most people don't understand exactly what it takes in order to run a country, let alone vote for somebody that's going to work in their own best interest. That's the truth. It's a cycle. We're all interconnected with each other. So if somebody becomes homeless, eventually it's going to become your problem, even though it's not necessarily right in front of your face. You're incentivized to do the thing that's in your best interest. You're incentivized to take care of your brother. This is why the word is actually the word, because it tells you that you need to love your brother as you love yourself, because that brother is largely going to become a burden for you if you don't do the thing that's best for him, which is what's best for you. It's best for me, for you to be successful. This is why I don't understand people hating on each other. I would never want you to not feed your family. I would never want you to suffer. I would never want you to go homeless, no matter whether or not I disagree with you or I disagree with your lifestyle. I agree with your humanity because your success is my success, even if we don't necessarily agree on one particular issue. I don't have no smoke for people, and I don't want nobody to actually suffer as a result of not being able to feed their family or to suffer based off of a decision that they make that they didn't know was what was best for them, because what's best for you is best for me. I want you to win even if I don't like you, because it then becomes a burden on me. I don't win when you don't win. This is why I don't understand haters. This is why I don't understand people that want to see other people fail. This is why I don't understand forgiveness, because when I forgive you, I forgive me. Forgiveness is for me, not just for you. This is what you don't understand about greatness. This is what you don't understand about spirituality. This is why you need to be well-versed in every aspect of your life, not just finances, not just women, not just relationships, not just with politics, not just with all of these things that you think make sense. This is why you need to study. This is why you need to understand things. This is why you need to understand when I say something that may criticize what it is that you're making a decision about, I'm not criticizing you, I'm criticizing me, because if you don't do the thing that you're supposed to do, then it becomes a burden for everybody. And then we all got to share in the burden, similar to what's going on in New York, similar to what's going on in Chicago. They not sitting here saying that we just need to tax the citizens of Chicago. They saying we want to draw all Americans and the federal government to help us with what we made a bad decision doing and becoming a sanctuary city, because we not being accountable and we not being held accountable by the very people that voted us in the office in the first place. We're all interconnected. We're all interdependent on somebody else doing the right thing in order for us to be okay. It's not just my burden. It's not just white people burden. It's not just black people burden. It's not just rich people. It's not just women. It's not just men. It's all of our responsibility to do the thing that's in the best interest of everybody else. Unless you don't care about yourself, then you don't care about your neighbor. That's the truth. That's the truth. That's the finesse. That's what life is trying to teach you. That's what God is trying to teach you. Unfortunately, we don't live to be 300 years old to where we can actually do the right thing. By the time you get old enough, or by the time you get wise enough to see what the real mistakes of what you live your life like, you die off, and then somebody gets that residual value, and that's why the kids are paying for the sins of their fathers. It don't get no realer than that. It don't get no more straight up than that. This is the reality of what you have to deal with every single day. You are only as strong as the weakest person that is around you. If one person drown, eventually we all gonna end up at the bottom of the ocean. It's just a matter of time. It don't benefit you to hate your brother. You can disagree. You can be passionate about your point, but it don't benefit you to want to see somebody fail. It don't benefit you to actually do something that's worse for somebody that's next to you just because you don't like them. You're hurting yourself. That's why we pray. Forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. Forgive me as I forgive him, because my success is largely tied to him. And if I'm to be judged according to how I judge him, then treat me the same way. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever and ever. Come on, man. Come on. Put it together. You've been taught this stuff your whole life. You've been in Bible study your whole life. Connect it to your real life and see how it affects you. Let me read some of the super chats and then we're going to get over with the show. I don't want to get stuck. You know me. I get stuck and then I go into a trance and it just goes in a whole nother direction. Anastasio says, as a sanitation worker, I'll pick up 20 tons, only service 800 residential homes. People do not understand. Shout out to you, big dog. I appreciate you. Hey, before I read in the rest of the super chats, tell your pastor to come holler at me. I will listen. I know y'all go to church every day. Y'all got women leadership. You got Deacon Pastor Baptist Church Episcopal of the Southern Baptist realm. Tell your pastor to come see me. He don't want this smoke. Tell your pastor to come invite me over to his church and watch me show the people how God really works. I will shut your pastor down. People it's God, Jesus, Anton. God, Jesus, I'm right below him. God, Jesus, I'm right below him. I will shut your pastor down. They don't want me to come and visit their church because they already know. When the truth come out, it's going to make you uncomfortable. Keep talking to me about y'all pastor. Not my pastor. Yes, your pastor. With 2 S's. Pastor. P-A-S-S-A-H. Shout out to Anastasio. Scooby Don is in the building. Yo, AD. Most of us city workers in NYC is super overworked. And this man is talking about cutting the agencies across the board, shaking my head. A disaster. Not coming. Been there. Not coming. The disaster is already there. J Dubs is in the building, says, took me watching your show to better understand a better way of voting. I appreciate you. Real talk. Shout out to you, big dog. Terrell Montgomery says, I enjoy your content, Anton. Keep it up, supporting you all the way from Japan. Shout out to my Japanese in the building. Scooby Don is in the building, says, NYC is all about hood robbing, take money from its residents but still have nothing to show for it. And now they're coming with this new congestion pricing BS. Shout out to you. I appreciate you. David Williams says Drake dropped 6 fire tracks today and 2 Chainz and Lil Wayne dropped the collab album today. Anton, what artists, if any, do you listen to? Honestly, I don't really listen to music like that. I like to cool off on some jazz when I get a chance to do it, but mostly I'm just watching podcasts, listening to content. I actually like to listen to stuff, and it's funny because I used to laugh at my uncle when he used to listen to talk radio and he used to listen to AM radio when I was coming up. But we listen to a version of AM radio when we on these podcasts now. You know what I'm saying? So I don't really listen to music like that. I like to listen to some vibey music, anything that get the ladies in the mood. And as far as the playlist, when they out here and having a good time, no thug music. No thug music. I'm straight with that. But I did hear that Drake dropped a new album. It's called something 3. Savage Season 3 or something like that. I don't know. And then Welcome to Collard Grove, I believe, was the new 2 Chainz and Lil Wayne album. Got Manny Fresh on it and stuff. I'm connected with what's going on in the streets. And I seen that Andre 3000 album that ain't got no rap on it. It ain't got no bars on it at all. He just over there playing the flute. It was kind of dope. I actually listened to it this morning. Shout out to David Williams. I appreciate you. Next Level. MF says, level up, elevate, BCU Bag Chasers University. Shout out to the Chasers. Link is in the Scary Hours 3. That's it. Make sure y'all get into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Scooby Don said, and the 24/7, 365 school zone cameras, NYC is crazy. Shout out to y'all. Mr. Lot says, my compliments to the chef. Shout out to you, Mr. Lot. Oh, let me give you the 10 ball. That's the 10 ball one right there, the 10 to 20 ball sound. Queen V says, just go ahead and run. We need you as prayers. They wouldn't appreciate me. They would do me the same way that they did Trump. They would probably do me worse than Trump. Scooby Don says, NYC completely obliterated the middle-class family. Been obliterated. Mike Jones in the building says, Cook Anton, too bad Brandon Johnson and the New York mayor can't see this. They be watching. If you don't think that they watching, they need to be learning something. They need to be getting a coaching call. Brian Smith says, spoken like a true technician, second to none. Shout out to my Cast Tech technicians out in the building. A lot of people don't even realize that I went to school, went to a Detroit public school. Also, let me give a shout out to Jeff. Thank you, Jeff, for holding me down. You are a true patriot. P. Shank says, good morning, Mr. Anton Daniels. Not having a good day, but it will get better because it's a choice. Keep doing what you're doing. Love the content. Love you too, big dog. All right, so let's get into the thick of the show. The part that I really, really wanted to talk about, I really wanted to dive into this. So I talked about it a little bit last night on the live stream. I did an impromptu live stream on the Anton Daniels channel. And I went into what was being proposed because somebody had informed me that this was going on. So I came home, and before I started to do anything, I got online, and instead of just making a video, because I had a video that I was supposed to drop yesterday, I was doing a lot of recordings. I did some interviews. I just jumped on a live stream, and I talked about it based off of what I was seeing online from CNN and CNBC and all of the other credible news outlets, Reuters, everything, right? But today, and I told y'all that I wanted to save this for y'all today. Today, I want to actually go over the 35-page document based off of Cassie's accusations and what's been filed in the United States District Court, Southern District of New York, between Cassandra Ventura and Sean Diddy Combs, Bad Boy Entertainment, Bad Boy Records, Epic Records, Combs Enterprises, LLC, and Doe Corps, who is listed as a defendant. Let me go ahead and share with you my screen because I want to go ahead and get into this. I want to read the 35-page complaint that she filed, okay? And then I'm going to give you my thoughts. But let's go through it, all right? Page by page. Warning, this document contains highly graphic information of a sexual nature, including sexual assault. So anybody that is uncomfortable with reading through a court document that is released to the public that basically details what she's alleging in this lawsuit, then you are more than welcome to be able to tap out. But let me just again give you a warning. This contains highly graphical information of a sexual nature, including sexual assault. You have 5 minutes. 5 seconds. 5 milliseconds. All right, let's get into it. So this is the actual court document. I want to go through it. It says the plaintiff hereby alleges, and we're not going to go through and read every single line of every 35 pages. We're just going to go through the cliff notes. All right. Plaintiff Cassandra hereby alleges as and for her complaint against defendant Sean Combs, Bad Boy Entertainment, so on and so forth, as follows. The preliminary statement, 1. Diddy is a rapper and a record executive popularly known by his stage names Puff Daddy, P. Diddy, or Diddy. Came to fame in the 1990s. All right, we don't need to know all of that. Received a Lifetime Achievement Award. He named a number of people before adding also Cassie for holding me down in dark times, love. So she's already going back to the fact that when he received the Lifetime Achievement Award in 2002 from BET, that he thanked and said Cassie had been holding him down even during the dark times. And she mentioned this inside of the lawsuit. Went on to say the truth is, however, that Cassie was held down by Mr. Combs and endured over a decade of his violent behavior and disturbed demands. For Miss Ventura, the dark times were those she spent trapped by Mr. Combs in a cycle of abuse, violence, and sex trafficking, among other violent and unlawful acts. So she's basically filing a lawsuit. This is not a criminal complaint. This is a civil complaint. Now, let me also preface this by saying, in the live stream yesterday, I mentioned and I showed specifically on different news outlets that Diddy's lawyers was basically saying that she actually wanted an 8-figure payday and was looking for a shakedown. So it sounds like her money is getting a little low. She left Diddy, went and got married, got a new husband, and now all of a sudden she's still in contact with Diddy way after she done got out of the relationship, and she trying to get a bunch of money from him. Doesn't mean that any of this is true or not true, because this is all alleged, but I just want to make sure that I'm adding additional context into this conversation. Let's continue. Goes on to say, she was raped. He raped Miss Ventura, this is what's alleged, in her own home after she tried to leave him. Often punched, beat, kicked, and stomped her, resulting in bruises, burst lips, and black eyes from bleeding. He blew up a man's car after he learned that he was romantically interested in Miss Ventura, which is being said as Kid Cudi. They saying that Diddy blew up Kid Cudi's car. Forced Miss Ventura to engage in sex acts with male. Now, this is the part that's wild. What is up with this demonic culture of y'all wanting to have these crazy, wild sex parties? She said Diddy forced her. We got to make sure that we say the words as it's listed in this document. Forced her to engage in sex acts with male sex workers while masturbating and filming the encounters. Hey, Diddy, I would suggest to you, sir, that if you have any evidence whatsoever of another man putting his Johnson inside of Cassie and then you in the background saying, oh, get rid of it now. Get rid of it yesterday. We don't want the discovery process to reveal you was over there like, ugh. Come on, man. Listen, I know that y'all out here doing some wild things, some strange things for some change. Everybody want a high value man that's a rich man, billionaire, millionaire, and all of this stuff. Yo, you need to get rid of that immediately. Immediately. Let's continue. Said ran out of his apartment with a firearm in pursuit of a rival industry executive who he learned was nearby. Diddy out here gangstering, huh? So Diddy calling men, according to whatever it is that she's alleging in this court document, Diddy is calling men over there to bust down his chicken and he running out with pistols in order to pistol whip people. Okay. Demanded that Miss Ventura carry his firearm in her purse, just to make her uncomfortable and demonstrate how dangerous he is. Or maybe he just wanted to make sure he protected himself. Introduced Miss Ventura to a lifestyle of excessive alcohol and substance abuse and required her to procure illicit prescriptions to satisfy his own addictions. Before we deep dive into this a little bit more, did I not say, have I not been saying that A, you need to stop following these celebrities, especially as far as trying to label them as life goals or using them as examples to illustrate why you can and can't be able to do some of the things that you do. And that B, that the person that you lay next to, even if it's 5 years, 6 years, 10 years after you have a conversation with them or you're in a relationship with them, the person that you lay next to is the most important business decision that you've ever made in your entire life. And so I'm going to be reading that super chat shortly. Let me say it again. The person that you lay next to, even if it's a side chick, even if it's a wife, even if it's a baby mama, even if it's just a mistress, even if you land next to another man, the person that you land next to is the most important business decision that you are ever going to make in your entire life. You need to be a lot more serious than y'all letting this be. You need to have a lot more seriousness in what you're allowing to lay next to you and the people that you're keeping around you. Let's continue. We're going to skim through this real quick. Met Combs in 2005. He was 37. She was 19. Few years, he lured her, and he made her sign, or he got her signed into this drug-fueled lifestyle and into a romantic relationship with him. Her boss, one of the most powerful men in the industry, and a vicious, cruel, and controlling man after nearly 2 decades. Her senior. So she's 19, he's 37. He signs her to a record deal, and he's saying that he introduced her into a lifestyle with this vicious man. Asserted complete control over her in her personal and professional life, ensuing her inability to escape his hold. He provided unprecedented avenues for success for the aspiring artist, but in return demanded obedience, loyalty, and silence. Prone to uncontrollable rage, frequently beat Miss Ventura savagely. Staff witnessed the beatings but wouldn't say anything. Following the episodes of horrific abuse, he would immediately attempt to hide her and the evidence of his violent rage, often showered her with gifts following incidents of physical violence, a typical pattern of behavior by serial abusers. In addition to the physical assaults, frequently reminded her of his ability to cause serious harm, whether that's reminding her to carry a gun inside of her purse, blowing up the car of a musician that was romantically interested in Miss Ventura, add insult to injury, use illegal substances such as the threat of violence, to force Miss Ventura into repeated unwanted sexual encounters with male sex workers. That shit is wild. Over the years, Mr. Combs abused Miss Ventura physically and sexually. She again and again tried to escape his tight hold over her life, and every time she hid, Mr. Combs' vast network of corporations and affiliated entities found her, and those who worked for Mr. Combs' companies implored her to return to him. Many went as far as to explicitly state that her failure to return to Mr. Combs would hinder her success in the music industry. And how many albums have Cassie dropped after in any capacity? Let's continue. When she believed that she finally separated from her long-term abuser, she joined Mr. Combs for a dinner, which he forced her into her home and raped her while she repeatedly said no and tried to push him away. Now that she has fully escaped, but the harm of the assaults and the sexual abuse has caused her to experience for nearly a decade will forever haunt her. She has required extensive medical and psychological care to recover from the trauma that she's lived through. She can, however, continue to live in silence about what she endured and remains immensely powerful. Diddy does, and immensely dangerous. Therefore, seeks justice for the decades of her life that Mr. Combs took away from her with the threat of violence, excessive use of drugs, and physical and psychological abuse and sexual slavery. This is crazy. Let me scroll down. That's the district, the parties, that's the plaintiff, employer, defendant, Epic Records. So she's suing basically everybody. Factual, she's saying that these are the facts. Club expressed an interest in signing her. Who the fuck signed a 10 album? Okay, let me stop cussing. Who signs a 10 album deal? A 10 album deal? A 10 album deal. Released in August 2006 for number 4 to promote the album, made television appearances, blah, 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 blah. Paternalistic, cute, how regular Mr. Ventura was, navigate new celebrity status. So basically, he uses deal in order to coerce her, according to her, into a sexual and romantic relationship. Within a year of signing the Bad Boys, he became deeply entrenched in her life, exerting possession and control over her. He positioned himself as a father figure and a protector of her by way of example. After returning to New York after a trip to Las Vegas, which she endured a brief hospital stay, and then when she was fully healthy, went out to the club with her friends. He saw her out. He reprimanded her and he told her to go home to take care of herself. And at the time, she thought that her record label was looking out for her well-being and that Mr. Combs had her best interest in mind. So basically, she had went through some kind of episode. And then Diddy came through and said, hey, what you doing out here in these streets trying to party? Go home. And so she thought that Diddy, according to this document, was looking out for her best interests. Invited himself to her 21st birthday party, pulled her into the bathroom, forcibly kissed her. She ran out of the bathroom in the hotel suite and cried. She told her best friend at the time what had happened, was too scared to tell anyone else. Following day, Miss Ventura's boyfriend at the time joined her and Mr. Combs at a club, at the table at the awards ceremony, and Mr. Combs became angry that Miss Ventura invited her boyfriend, and it wasn't just her. So basically, he's saying that he was dirty. She telling him that he was dirty macking. She continued to spend time. Rejecting his request would have had repercussions for her album or record deal. Picked up Miss Ventura from her apartment in Manhattan in a blue luxury vehicle. Surprised when she got into the car that Diddy was already inebriated. He handed her a pill and told her to take it. And when she asked what the pill was, he dismissed her and told her she would like it. She later learned the pill was ecstasy. Miss Ventura had never before tried it and didn't want to try it. This was the first time Mr. Combs got Miss Ventura high. Mr. Combs then proceeded to drive recklessly at very high speeds down the West Side Way of Manhattan. She was very scared but did not object, who appeared drunk, high, and agitated. Mr. Combs took her to an upscale lounge in downtown Manhattan where he proceeded to get into an altercation with security staff who would not permit Mr. Combs to enter, presumably because he was belligerent. Ms. Ventura decided to go home, but for the remainder of the night, Mr. Combs messaged Ms. Ventura, incessantly complaining that she left him high and alone. His power and influence when he paid a promoter to create a fake flyer for a party hosted by Ms. Ventura. This fake posting allowed Ms. Ventura to have an excuse to go to Miami, Florida, and get her away from her boyfriend by using the guise of a legitimate event she had to attend. Ms. Ventura was stunned at how easily Mr. Combs was able to recruit others to lie for him. She then said she was uncomfortable with the fake flyer, but because the request to go to Miami was made by the owner of a record label, and because she was scared to go against the wishes and face repercussions of him, she agreed to join him in Florida. During the trip to Miami, he provided her with copious amounts of drugs. She became more intoxicated than she ever had before, and her intoxication lasted throughout the weekend trip. As she wanted Mr. Combs to continue to support her career, she felt she could not refuse Mr. Combs urging her to take more drugs. After providing her with drugs, Mr. Combs had sexual intercourse with Ms. Ventura during this Miami trip. So she's over in Miami. Her boyfriend is back in New York. She over there taking drugs and getting buzzed down by the boys. That's basically what she said. He exerted his power, and this dynamic was fueled by the fact that he was basically very powerful. Blind loyalty in his inner circle, paid for things with wads of cash, would repeatedly tell Miss Ventura, don't worry about money, I got money. He expensed lavish vacations for him and Ms. Ventura, purchased a car for her, paid for her apartment, provided her with extensive amounts of designer clothing around 2008, 2009. He began to rent an apartment in Manhattan for her. The apartment was within walking distance of his New York residence. He first showed her an apartment by bringing her there alone with her parents. Her parents were skeptical of the mogul's displays of wealth, but proud of their daughter's newfound success. Okay, so as we go through this, and as we read this document, here's my question. So let's say, for example, you felt some type of way, and I also want to know what you told your boyfriend when you got back to New York after you got done doing whatever it was that you was doing in Miami. I mean, this is so descriptive that it's hard to say what part is embellished and what part is true because it's all told from only one person's perspective. What part is embellished? Because they got surviving Diddy out here in the streets. When I give my final thoughts, it's going to be crazy. But at what point, because you brought your parents there, apparently you out there breaking up with your boyfriend. Boyfriend should have seen it as a red flag. You out there flying to Miami by yourself and you ain't came back in like 3 days. Now you got a new apartment and luxury cars and you ain't even selling no records. Okay. Kristen Nicole says financial abuse is real. Which part of it? Okay. All right. Listen, Christian, I have heard a lot of things. I have never heard of financial abuse as far as you getting things. I've heard of financial abuse as far as somebody gambling away all of the family's resources, or they made a business play and they went broke, or scamming and all of this other type of stuff. I've never in my life heard of financial abuse from somebody getting all of the lavish gifts, free apartments, and a lifestyle, and they're not even selling no records. I've never heard of financial abuse and you getting things. What part of that is which part of that is abusive? I don't know. I'm just listening. What part of that is abusive? Let's go on. Let's continue to break it down. Because I have not given my final thoughts yet. But I just want to that is Molly Mall. That is wild. That's wild. Financial abuse is wild. All right, so let's continue to go down. So similarly paid for an apartment. I'm going to read the super chat shortly. Don't worry. Financial abuse. All right, well, then I'll just leave you for the streets. Cool. Annie paid for an apartment for her in LA. So she had an apartment in New York and she had an apartment in LA, which was located about 5 minutes away from his residence. And he paid for many of her apartments in California. Also purchased a Jaguar for her around 2013, 2014. Okay, so I guess she's still being abused. Living a life that nobody else can afford, but she abused. All aspect of her life was controlled by Mr. Combs and his management companies. Every event Miss Ventura attended, from the travel to the makeup to clothing, was paid for directly by Mr. Combs and his affiliate companies. Let's continue. Pills, painkillers, ecstasy, pills, Miami doctor in her own name, day-to-day travel, medical care, experiencing memories. Now she's saying she got memory loss. That's because you out here doing what you want to do. Started a whirlwind of celebrity meetings, alcohol, drug-fueled parties. For example, on one occasion when Mr. Combs and Ms. Ventura were using drugs together in his home, one of his security staff barged in and announced that Suge Knight, a longtime rival of Mr. Combs, was spotted at Mel's Drive-In Diner in Los Angeles. Mr. Combs began to get dressed, retrieved multiple guns from the safe, and ran out of his home to where he believed Mr. Knight was dining. She became terrified and began to cry. So Diddy was strapping up to go and deal with Suge Knight. They saying that Diddy is a gangster. On at least 2 occasions, he demanded that he hold a gun in her purse, violently beat her, leave bruises, hide the evidence. On one such instance, after a party with Jay-Z, Mr. Combs beat Miss Ventura repeatedly in an Escalade, including kicking and hitting her, forced her outside of the vehicle on 5th Avenue, New York City. Eventually, she was able to hail a cab and get to her apartment in Manhattan, where she would cry and couldn't tell anybody. 3 days hiding in her apartment. Learned that she spoke to another music manager at a party in Los Angeles. He became enraged. She had hoped speaking to this manager would allow her to further grow her career and that he would be happy with her, but he became extremely angry and pulled her out of the club where the party was taking place. He beat her, pushed her into a corner of the vehicle, stomped her face. Security staff Roger Bonds tried to stop the beating, but was unable to de-escalate the situation. He kicked her in the face again. She was bleeding. Ushered her into his home where she began to throw up from the violent assault. When he recognized the damage and physical evidence of abuse, he panicked, forced his staff to bring her to a hotel suite at the London Hotel in Los Angeles, where she was required to stay for a week. So he was Ike Turner, is basically what she's saying. She asked to go home to her parents. He wouldn't let her leave, instructed his assistant to purchase excessive amounts of gifts for her, which were delivered to the hotel room where she remained trapped. She found herself becoming numb to the abuse she was experiencing and blindly following his leadership. By his own admission, his relationship was like Bobby and Whitney, a clear acknowledgement of the unequal power dynamic and excessive domestic violence that permeated throughout their relationship. They was like Ike and Tina. And so now here's the juicy part. So now he forced her into sex trafficking, according to what this is saying. Within a few months of beginning you see how I perked up on this part? Within a few months of beginning a romantic relationship with 40-year-old Mr. Combs, 22-year-old Miss Ventura felt beholden to his whims and demands. Okay, so before we get into this, again, the question then becomes, when you go home or you talk to your parents or whatever, are you not able to leave? Because I'm always confused and I'm always curious as to why women decide to stick around. Is it the gifts? Is it the lifestyle? Is it the fact that you're going to have to live a regular life afterwards? What is it? If this is true, which this is all just being alleged, at what point do you then make the adjustment and get the heck up out of there? All right, so, he wanted to engage in a fantasy called voyeurism. Mr. Combs said that it would turn him on if he saw her with another. I can't even say it. Let me take a drink. So she basically saying Diddy gay now. She basically saying Diddy gay. Because I don't care what y'all say. I don't know how y'all spin it. If a man want to see another man, the first time Mr. Combs hired a man and brought, oh God, Jesus. Oh. The first time Mr. Combs hired a man and brought the man to his home in Los Angeles, the man, Mr. Combs, and Miss Ventura wore masquerade masks. Like they don't know that is you. So you gonna wear a mask and ingested drugs. Mr. Combs directed Miss Ventura to perform sexual acts with this man while Mr. Combs watched them. He did that, this right here, while he directed her and the man to do specific acts. The encounter lasted multiple days, man. He began to call the arrangement a freak off or a FO. He will repeatedly tell Miss Ventura at random moments that he wanted an FO, and Miss Ventura would eventually expect it to facilitate the location and hiring of the workers. At certain points during Miss Ventura and Mr. Combs' relationship, he would insist on an FO weekly, repeatedly telling Miss Ventura that the practice was our thing and our secret. God. FOs would take place in hotel suites, including at the Trump International Hotel in Columbus Circle in Beverly Hills, London Hotel in Los Angeles, Intercontinental Century City, oh gosh, she giving all of it. Yo, this is getting a little bit too descriptive for it to be 100% false. For some reason, I'm starting to believe it a little bit. The one hotel in New York and Miami, Mandarin Oriental Hotel in New York and Miami, Fontainebleau in Miami, Beverly Hills, the Shutters on the beach in Los Angeles. On one occasion in 2013, he had a freak out or FO set up at the Intercontinental. He got it set up, after which he was charged with tens of thousands of dollars in damages by the hotel. What was y'all doing? Mr. Combs' chief of staff, Tony Fletcher, paid the invoice charged by the hotel. He eventually instructed, Ms. Ventura was eventually instructed to use websites and escort services to find male workers to participate in the freak-offs. And the search, the search was for BBCs on the website. Oh my God. Oh, no. Don't do it. Don't tell her that she told you to search for the BBC. Oh my God. What in the God's name is happening out here in these streets? Sometimes Mr. Combs would pay to fly male workers to the location, including multiple cities in the United States as well as abroad. And he expected her to make the arrangements, setting up the hotel suites with baby oil and Astroglad. Hey, remind me to never shake Diddy's hand if I ever see him in person. Mr. Combs always supplied Ms. Ventura and the worker with copious amounts of drugs before, during, and during the freak-offs. She was given ecstasy, cocaine, GHB, ketamine, marijuana, and alcohol in excessive amounts during the freak-offs, which allowed her to disassociate during these horrific encounters. It became commonplace to get IV fluids in the days after and freak-off to recover from excessive substances pushed upon her. She was required to dress up in lingerie for the freak-offs, and Mr. Combs insisted she wear white nail polish to contrast her nails with the skin of the black man he hired to bust her down. God. Pour excessive amount of oils over herself, instruct her and the workers to speak to each other, then would specifically tell Ms. Ventura where to touch the worker. He would say things like, oh God. Now, let me preface this by saying I have not read this before we had started reading this, all right? He would instruct her to say things like, grab that BBD. Oh, God. What is happening with Diddy out here in these streets? This is official court documents. Oh, God. He should have just paid the ransom. Whatever ransom she wanted from him, he should have just paid the ransom. $100 million, just give it to her, dog. Just give her the whole thing. Oh, in addition to directing him, he would be busting himself down. He would use his phone, laptop to film. He treated the forced encounter as a personal art project, adjusting the candles he used for lighting to frame the videos that he took. While Ms. Ventura quickly deleted any photographs or videos of the acts if they were taken on her phone, he repeatedly made clear that he retained many of the videos during the freak-offs. Even when she deleted the videos, he would tell her that he was able to recover the deleted videos from her devices. On one encounter, he sat next to her on a flight and made her watch a video she thought she had deleted, reinforcing her inability to escape and the immense power that he had over her. He would pay the workers a few $1,000s in cash for their services, become extremely intoxicated. He hit her in front of one of the male workers. She was repulsed by his demands, but between the physical beating and recognizing his incredible power and incredible temper, became petrified, and so she didn't feel like she could say no. He even would present her with lavish gifts prior to or in the middle of the freak-offs, seemingly acknowledging the ways in which these encounters constituted work for her, and he needed to compensate her for her work. At one point, he had given her so many designer bracelets, and immediately following the beatings that she felt shackled by... Oh, come on, fam. Come on, fam. He gave her so many designer bracelets for the freak-offs immediately following the beatings that she felt she was being shackled by his presence. Come on, fam. Stop. Good God. She would become physically ill, vomiting. Oh, hold on. And eventually forced her to get up and proceed with the encounter. That's wild. She did not want to engage, and she was met with anger and violence. If she would refuse, he would give her ultimatums and said she had a lot to lose. surprise birthday dinner for her 29th birthday, and he insisted that they leave the party and go to a hotel for a freak off. So he just said, this is our norm now. When she expressed she didn't want to go, he had her cornered by his security staff in order to force her to leave with him. Went back to the hotel room that she was staying in, where some of her friends were already hanging out. He was severely intoxicated, and at one point in the night picked up one of her friends like a child and dangled the friend over the balcony of the Okay, come on now. Come on, fam. You telling me Diddy? I'm going to read the super chat shortly. Are you telling me that Diddy grabbed one of her friends like it was a baby doll and had their feet over the 17th floor like this? Come on, fam. See, this is what makes me believe that either it's all cap or there's mixed in cap with it, and it's excessive and it's exaggerated in order to illustrate certain things. This is crazy, bro. This is crazy. Stop it, bro. Listen to this. Just listen to it. Mr. Combs was severely intoxicated and at one point during the night picked up one of Mrs. Ventura's friends like a child, a grown person, and dangled the friend over the balcony of the 17th floor of the hotel suite. So he Hulk Hogan now? He Hulk Hogan now. Come on, man. Stop, bro. Stop. Let me read some of this. Let me get to it. Okay, here we go. Here's a good part. In 2011, during a rough patch in Mr. Combs and Miss Ventura's relationship with Ventura had a brief relationship. Oh, snap. So she cheated. They had a rough patch in their relationship, and she had a brief relationship with musician Kid Cudi. Now, Kid, you know better than this. When Mr. Combs returned from a trip, he demanded another freak off of Miss Ventura, and she acquiesced. So she got in a relationship with Kid Cudi. He said, hey, man, I want to bust you down. She acquiesced. Basically, she agreed. During this freak off, he found her phone and found emails between her and Kid Cudi. Mr. Combs became enraged and placed a manual corkscrew between his fingers and lunged at her. She ran away to stay at Kid Cudi's house to escape Mr. Combs' wrath. Soon thereafter, one of Mr. Combs' staff members told Ms. Ventura that he just needed to talk to Mr. Combs, and even though Diddy was enraged, feeling like she could not escape his network of enforcers, she returned to him. He hit her several times, then kicked her in the back as she tried to run out the door. She went to her parents' home in Connecticut, where her mother took pictures of the bruises that he had left on her body. During Fashion Week in 2012, Mr. Combs told Ventura that he was going to blow up Kid Cudi's car and that he wanted to ensure that Kid Cudi was home with his friends. When it happened, around that time, Kid Cudi's car exploded in his driveway. She was terrified, began to fully comprehend what Mr. Combs was both willing and able to do if he believed that he had been slighted. This is crazy accusations, man. This is not cool. He gave her 2 black eyes, a bruised lip, welt on her forehead. This is bad. This is not good for him. Later in 2015, while shooting a movie in Cape Town, South Africa, she began a flirtatious relationship with an actor. She spent New Year's Eve with this actor, but Combs found out, and he called the actor and threatened him, and the actor proceeded to call Ms. Ventura and tell her, you really need to call Mr. Combs. In and around March 2016, during a freak-off at the what's up with all of these freak-offs? He became extremely intoxicated, gave her a black eye. Man, this is crazy. Vicious cycle of abuse. When the security footage came out, he paid $50,000 for the hallway security footage. Jesus. Man, this dude is out here running this like a mob boss. Then it goes into how he forcibly did what he wanted to do with her physically, sexual and physical abuse, and her lifelong harm. And then it goes into first cause of action, second cause of action, third cause of action, basically going into who the defendants are, who she's suing, where she's suing them, what happened, where, sixth cause of action, so on and so forth. All right, let me see something. Prayer for relief. Plaintiff prays judgment to be entered in favor against defendants, and each of them as follows. So this is what she's requesting. This is the last page. For a money judgment representing compensatory damages, including consequential. Don't worry, my C student is coming out. Including consequential damages, lost wages, earning, and all other sums of money together, interest on these amounts according to proof. Number 2, for money judgment for mental pain and anguish over distress and distress according to proof. Number 3, for punitive and exemplary damages according to proof. Number 4, for attorney's fees. 5, for prejudgment and post-judgment interest. And 6, for such other relief such as court may deem proper. And then it's signed according to her lawyer. So 1 through 5 or 1 through 6, she's basically saying that she want money. 1 through 6, she's basically saying that she wants money. So with all of this evidence and all of these things that she's alleging, and she is married now, Van Gogh, according to what was being reported by the news. For all of these things and all of the things that she wants, she basically wants money. She don't want any kind of criminal complaint. She's not alleging that he did anything from a criminal perspective as far as trying to have him prosecuted and sent to jail. She's basically saying for his secrets and for the things that she feels as though she endured in a lifestyle of financial abuse and physical abuse, she wants money. All right? Here's my thoughts. And then I'm going to read super chats, and then I'm going to open it up for anybody that agree or for anybody that disagrees with me. Go ahead and make sure that you prepare yourself. Go ahead and make sure that you get your audio correct. I'm going to drop the link in the chat for anybody that disagrees with me on anything that I've spoken about over the past week, including this. All right? Let me just go ahead and drop the link in the chat for y'all to get ready to cam up in a minute. Well, I'll drop it after this, and then I'll read the super chats, and I'll start to bring y'all up one by one if you disagree with me. Only if you disagree with me, you are more than welcome to come up on the platform. So here's my thoughts of this whole thing. After reading the full 35-page document for myself for the first time with you guys, it is open season on demon culture. It is open season on demon culture. It's time to pay the piper. What's done in the dark comes to the light. You cannot run away from your past. And black culture is absolutely, not even just black culture, because the culture is the things that we celebrate the most. For all of y'all that absolutely positively was running it up and you had something to say, and every time that I say something, you would say, well, but Diddy did it and he a billionaire. Now who's your heroes? When I criticized him when he was on EYL and he was giving y'all all of this narrative about what becoming a billionaire was, and I vehemently disagreed with a lot of his talking points, y'all then tried to use money to try to say that I was wrong about my assessment of what the mentality was for the people that y'all were calling y'all heroes. And I said that all money ain't good money, and y'all said, but he got more money than you and he a billionaire, so he must be right. I want you to keep the same energy. I want you to keep the same energy. Now, I'm not saying that all these allegations are true, but I'm saying that you are not going to continue to do what you want to do and think that God don't see it. Eventually, everybody is going to be accountable for their actions. In this demon culture that y'all are continuing to champion, all of the things that y'all think is great, y'all said that we need to stick together based off of the color of our skin. Y'all still stand on that? You still stand on the idea that we need to align ourselves with the color of our skin instead of the content of our character. I want to see y'all stand on that. Stand on the idea that the people that y'all called y'all heroes are still your heroes based off of the albums that they gave y'all and the liquor that y'all sold, that he sold to y'all. And think about it. Let's really put it in perspective. Let's put it in perspective, y'all. You made him a billionaire. You bought the liquor because he was black. You celebrated him because he gave you some of your favorite artists. You champion these people just based off of the money that they made and the fact that they continued to dance in front of you. You said that these people were your heroes. And I want to know exactly how you feel about that now that you're a grown man or a grown woman and your life is absolutely in shambles because you was influenced by the same demons that is taking them down because they no longer have any use for them, because that's how the devil works. When they no longer have any use for you, it's time for you to then pay the piper. It's shown in all of your movies. Go and watch Constantine. Go and watch any of these movies. When you are no longer useful after selling your soul to the devil, you then have to start paying a piper. And let's be clear, this is just as much of a spiritual war as it is a financial war. And you think that this is all based off a race. All of your heroes, every last one of them are falling one by one by one by one. You looked at them as a champion for what it takes in order to be in a successful relationship. Well, Diddy got all of these side chicks. Okay. Now how you feel? It's better on my side, ain't it? Oh, no, you don't want to continue to roll that way? Will, Diddy, Jeezy, Tyrese. Every last one of your heroes are not your heroes. They're human beings that have sold you a culture that is not best for you, yet you continue to embrace it and champion it as though it is the very thing that you should model your life behind. And now you're starting to see that they're fallible human beings and they're susceptible to the same things that you go through in your own everyday life. Before you start to talk about how we need to come together and align, I need you to figure out who the people are that you're doing business with. Before you start to champion people and talk about how it is that you need to run your relationships, I need to understand whether or not you understand what being successfully married or in a relationship looks like. I need to know who you are, what you stand for, before I ever start having a conversation about whether or not we need to be in the same room with each other. I don't want to be your friend. I'm not interested in signing to your label. I'm not interested in whatever amount of money that you have. Money is just a tool. It does not necessarily substantiate exactly who you are as a person. And again, I've been saying this since the beginning of time. Money does not make you a better person. It makes you more of what you already are. So if you are not, and all of these people that get coaching calls with me, they will tell you. Everybody that's a part of the Patreon, link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Every person that has met me in person at a meetup, anybody that sees me, they will tell you that you cannot ask me for anything without getting the character that go along with it. If you don't want to do the work as far as making sure that you do things the right way or have the character to go along with it, then I am not interested in coaching you. I am not interested in doing business with you. I am not interested in having a conversation in which you are then around me on a regular basis, because the character is just as much as the growth, is just as important as the growth, because the character is the thing that keeps you as you continue to transition through this lifetime. Eventually, you're going to have to be accountable for whatever it is that you do. And the fact that y'all keep on looking at these people, it's not just the Diddies. This is just an example. Some of y'all got favorite YouTubers that you don't even know nothing about what their life is. You don't know what they into. You don't know what they got going on. And you worship them. I'm not saying don't take the information that they give you, But I'm just saying, you worship them. You worship them like they warrant worship. We different over here in the Bag Chasers and the Millionaire Morning Show. We use our real names. You know who our wives are. You know who our daughters and our sons are. You know who we are in real life. We've been living our life like an open book since the beginning of time. Listen, all of this stuff that y'all seeing and all of this stuff that y'all continue to embrace, I'm going to tell you exactly what it is. It's demonic. It's demonic. You keep doing things out of order. You keep on celebrating the worst things for the culture. You keep on listening to the music and it's programming you to feel and think a certain way and to operate a certain way. And you keep on having the worst results and you still in last place. Tell me, how has it helped you? How has it helped you to become richer? Why are you still in last place? How has it helped you to become a better father, a better mother? How has it helped you to actually find a relationship that you're supposed to be in? But instead, what I see happening in the culture, and let's just be very, very absolutely transparent, I see motherless, fatherless, jail, abuse, rape, children with no parents, crack, fentanyl, dreads, weed smoke, no jobs, no church, no spiritual guidance, nothing that actually helps you to become a better version of yourself. You keep taking direction and leadership from people that don't even have your best interest at heart. You don't even know these people. You don't know what they came here to do. You don't even know that they're a plant. And I ain't even talking about the plant for the federal government. They're a plant by the devil. They are a plant by the devil. It's demons running all over these people and you can't wait to meet them. You shake their hand and the demon jump off of them and they jump right into you. Laying in your bed, you can't figure out why you got all of these diseases. You can't figure out why you can't shake this feeling. You can't figure out why you always in a bad mood. Why everybody that you attract is bad for you. Because you got stuff on you. It's a war. It's a real war happening outside. And y'all don't want to have a conversation. Y'all don't want to get to the core of it. You want to stay surface level. You want to go and drink and party and continue to cover whatever it is that you feel by some kind of temporary feeling to help you get through the night. But at the end of the day, you still got to wake up and be you. You keep following these nasty, filthy, demonic-filled celebrities that can't even give you no game as to what it is that you're supposed to be doing in your real life. And every day, behind the scenes, they battling with people that surround them to try not to expose them for what it is that they really are. It's the truth. It's the truth. They really are that. Listen. This ain't even about them. This is about you. This is what I'm trying to tell you. Wake up. Being woke ain't got nothing to do with systematic racism. You don't even see clearly anymore. Wake up. Come out of that dark space. Wake up. Stop looking at them as your heroes. Wake up. Ain't you tired of being for the streets? Ain't you tired of being broke? Ain't you tired of leaning on something that somebody else told you on Instagram that don't have no value and no real credentials as to why it is that they should be listened to in the first place? So they funny. So now you follow their lifestyle. They can rap. Now you follow their lifestyle. They a billionaire. Now you follow their lifestyle. What you should have done is separate what made them successful and then leave all of that other stuff outside. If they can give you some game as to how it is that you can level up financially, great. Take the information. If they can give you some insight on how to market yourself effectively, great. Take the information. If you're trying to become a comedian and you're looking at somebody that did it just as successful, great. Take the information. But do not continue to worship these people that cannot do anything for you, because at the end of the day, they are leading you directly into hell. That is the truth. That is the unmitigated, uncensored, completely straight up and down truth. The reason that they continue to fight people like me, and the reason why they continue to throw ad hominem attacks, and the reason why God's people are so behind in the times. The reason why you ain't saved, the reason why you ain't got yourself together, the reason why you don't even acknowledge God anymore is because you've been so immersed in the devil's workshop that you no longer even see clearly anymore. They don't don't want an example that actually shows you what being in a healthy relationship looks like. They don't want a black man that is also successful, that also is a father, that ain't caught up in no bullshit, that is actually married successfully for the past 20 years to be an example for what you're supposed to be. What you think, that the devil want that? They don't want nobody to have a conversation with you and hold you accountable and tell you to pull up your bootstraps and stop following celebrities that then has been put in place in order to continue to make you a part of the prison industrial complex. They want you to understand that you ain't got no stripes unless you did some dirt. Your heroes, you celebrate the people that went to prison, not the ones that stayed out of it. You celebrate the dope users and not the ones that continue to ask you not to do it on purpose. You kill the people that actually want to do the thing that's right for you. You labeled them corny. They made good bad and bad good. And now you think that it's cool. Man, these men is 50 and 60 years old, and they just now having to come back to the front of the congregation. When you going to wake the fuck up, man? Y'all still stuck? You still stuck? You don't understand what I'm saying? It ain't clear enough for you? Listen, I'll be very, very clear with you. The path to destruction is wide. Is wide. Demons are all on earth. Hell is enlarging itself. And the ones that usually is that you don't want to listen to, the ones that everybody is not paying attention to, usually they're the ones that got the game and the insight as to how it is you can be successful. The reason that they call them the 1% in any level of success in life is because very few people actually take that pathway to what it is. It's not that they're doing anything unique than anybody else is doing. It's really just that they're making the difficult decision that the majority of the people is not going to follow. Most people do not do the thing that's in their own best interest. Most people don't go with the person that they're supposed to talk to and then make that a part of their relationship. Most people don't pick the pathway to success as far as financial. They feel like they got to take a shortcut. Most people are not going to continue to stick on the path of righteousness and make the right decision as far as trying to get into heaven. Most people is hoping to make a decision on their deathbed to ask God for forgiveness when they did the devil's work their entire life. I don't expect for everybody to be saved. I don't expect everybody to be in the top 1% financially. I don't expect the majority of the population, because they say speak to the majority. I'm not here for the majority. I know your favorite YouTubers, whether they financial or whatever like that, they keep saying, well, it's all about the regular people. It's not. I'm not here for the majority. I'm here to look for the needle in the haystack. And of the over 2,000, over 2,100 people that's listening, more than 2 hours, 2.5 hours into this live stream, I'm only talking to one or two people. There's over 2,100 people that is listening to this live stream right now, and I'm only talking to one or two people. Because it's only one or two people out of that entire haystack that is going to take the advice and make the adjustment and do the thing that's in their own best interest, whether it be financially, whether it be spiritually, whether it be emotionally, whether or not they're going to make an adjustment and divest themselves against the people that's bad for them. There's only a 1% within the 1%. There's only a small demographic of people that is watching this right now that is going to make the adjustment and do the thing that's in their own best interest. I'm speaking to them. When other content creators criticize me and they say, Anton always speaking to the 1%, you're right. I agree with you. I agree with you. Everybody not going to make it. That's what the words say. That's what the words say, is that it's not for everybody. I'm speaking to them. I'm not speaking to you. It's a small amount of people that's going to take the advice. That's what I'm there for. I'm not there for everybody. I'm not here for the whole internet. I'm here for the 2,100 people that's watching this right now. Let me drop the link in the chat, and then I'm going to read the super chats, and y'all be able to hold me accountable and say whatever it is that you disagree with. Give me a second. Let me get the link for y'all. I'm going to still read the super chats too. You do not have to be on camera if you disagree with me. You could just call in and give your thoughts. Let me repeat that. You do not have to be on camera. All right? You do not have to be on camera. The link, I just dropped it in the chat. Let me pin it to the top of the chat so that people can know where it is. Only if you disagree with me. And try to keep it short so I can get to as many people as possible. Only if you disagree with me, feel free to call into the show. Let me buzz down some of these super chats in the meantime. Daryl Pullen says, Anton, I got mom and my aunts real uncomfortable giving them the game. I learned from you about this voting, and they still voting black and Democrat. It's not for everybody, bro. It's not for everybody, bro. Enforcer 2K9 says, why do these women never file criminal charges for alleged sexual misconduct and or domestic abuse? That's how you know they're lying. It's all about money. Listen, I can't disagree with anything that anybody is saying. Anthony W says, facts. Thank you, my friend. Mr. Lott is in the building, says, this sounds like Tyler Perry's Temptation. She left Ryan Leslie for what she thought was better. Shout out to Mr. Lott. I'm going to continue to read Super Chat shortly. Let me get Chewy B. Chewy B has a disagreement with me. Chewy.
What's going on?
Is it Chewy or Chewy?
Chewy, you got it. Can you hear me?
Okay, 1 second. What's up, Chewy? What's going on? What do you disagree with?
Hey, I'm just wondering why you keep saying you're a C student, man.
So you disagree with the fact that I say I'm a C student?
Yeah, I sure do. Because
I got C's all through school.
Okay. I was just wondering because I do disagree. I think a C student doesn't have a CS or IT degree.
Yeah, they
got
do.
all these things going on.
Yeah, they do.
Well, yeah, they pass. I see how you can say that, but I mean, an average person, I don't think is just like a C student, and as you say it.
That's why it's called average, because it's a C student.
Okay.
I
was just wondering if you're trying to relate to the people like that or something.
No,
or do you really think of yourself as a C person?
No, I am a 2.5, 2.6, 2.7 GPA student.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, that was my pretty much thing that I've been hearing you say a lot. Like, hey, I'm a C student. If I'm a C student, you can do it. But I don't think you can get to that kind of level where I extend a certain kind of belief or some kind of, like you say, you're a millionaire. We have no way to verify that. I'm not a bag chaser yet, but we're getting there.
If you go into the Patreon, you can look at all of my W-2s, check stubs, brokerage account. You can look at everything. You can look at my deposits.
We're getting there.
You can look at everything if you want to. Matter of fact, here
we're waiting for the first.
In my personal account, my spending last year. I just pulled this up the other day. It's funny. And I mean, you don't have to, like, it doesn't matter if I'm a millionaire or not, I guess. You know what I'm saying? This is my personal account. And we'll
here's
go
the thing.
yearly. Well, hold on, give me a second. 2022. And this is during the Chase app. My spending summary for last year. For 2022, this is the Chase app. This is my personal account.
Yeah.
This don't have nothing to do with business. This don't have nothing to do with my business accounts, nothing. My personal spending last year for 2022 is right there.
Yeah. Yeah. I like I said, I extend that.
And I can go to 2023
belief.
if you want me to. We can go to 2023. And this year I spent less. I spent $590,000.
Yeah. Well, the reason why I bring it up is just I feel like some type of way whenever I lend my ear to people. Whenever I listen to people, I don't want to listen to average people. You know,
Why?
I want to strive for that exceptionalism.
You can take information that you get from anybody.
Yeah, that's true. You can always learn from everybody, but I'm not trying to be a C student. So that's why I say I mean, that doesn't sound too convincing when you're trying to listen for advice to try to sort out and filter. Hey, this guy really has it going on, and he's inspiration.
Yeah, I mean, take it. Listen, you can learn from a lot of different people. Take it from, take whatever it is that you want from multiple people, and then go from there. Like, take a little bit from me that you agree with, maybe the stuff that you don't agree with, you leave it on the floor, and then you just go from there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Okay.
All
All
right,
right.
big
I got
dog.
you, man. That's all I got. Hey.
Okay, big
Peace
dog.
out.
I'm gonna get Mike on the line. Let's see, Mike. I'm guessing that you don't want to be on camera. Is it Mike? You muted?
Yes, sir.
What's up, Mike?
Man, I see the work you're doing. Are you advising us to follow you instead of these people?
No, I'm advising you not to follow these people.
But do you want to be followed?
No, I'm already gonna be followed. That just comes with the territory. That just comes with being a public figure. It's a responsibility of everybody that's a public figure to be a reflection of the thing that they advocating for. So if people are given, and again, it's different people that you can follow for different reasons. If it's somebody that's giving you advice for relationships, I think that they should be successfully, or they should have been successfully in a relationship to where they can give you that advice, right? If it's somebody that's giving you financial advice, yeah, it's a bunch of people that can say, yeah, this and that, but how do you filter through it, right? And so you can take financial advice from somebody that may not necessarily be successful in a relationship. So you take the meat and you spit out the bones, right? You can take marketing advice from somebody that know how to build a following and take the meat and spit out the bones, but it don't have to necessarily be as a part of a relationship. The problem within the Black community is that we often at times want to adopt everything and worship the people that we're just supposed to be taking a certain amount of information from. That's the difference. So if you're going to follow me, follow the good things from me, or maybe learn from the things that I do wrong, and then I make the adjustments, because that's the reason why I live my life like an open book, right? So pick and choose what you want to follow from different people, but make sure it's the right things, and then you spit out the rest of it that don't necessarily apply to you. But stop worshiping people is the goal. That's the reason. That's the thing that I'm communicating to you. Stop worshiping people.
Okay, I got you. I appreciate it.
All right, big dog. We're going to go with Kevin. Let me see. What up, Kev? Kev, can you hear me? Look like you're frozen back there. Again, if anybody disagree with me or anybody has anything that they want to hold me accountable for, you are more than welcome to do so. The link is pinned to the top of the chat for y'all to be able to do so. Kevin, are you muted? Unmuted? I see you in the back. It says that you're still muted, and it looked like you're a little bit froze. I'm going to wait for you to call back in. Let me read some of these super chats while I'm waiting for people, because I don't see anybody else in the back. Let me read some of these super chats, and then I'm going to continue on with the show. If anybody has anything that they disagree with me with, feel free to be able to come up on the platform. Highly Offensive says, Dave Chappelle, if you out there, we remember you're making the band. You're making a band. We need a new skit for this. Shout out to Highly Offensive. I appreciate you, big dog. Bag for Bag says, surviving Diddy, take that. Coming fall 2024. It's crazy. It's crazy. Jordan says, wonder if she backed out the industry spotlight due to trauma from Diddy. Looks like surviving R. Kelly turning into surviving Diddy. Shout out to Jordan. Let me see if I can get somebody else up here that may agree or I'm sorry, that disagrees with me. Let me see. Give me a second. Bird. Okay. Bird dipped off. Bird didn't want to be on camera, I guess. Or he didn't want to be a part of the live stream. Bird, call back if you can. I'm going to go to William. William, what up, William?
What up, big dog? How you doing?
What's happening? What you disagree with, big dog?
Bruh, it's not God, then Jesus, then Anton.
Okay.
I love you, bro. I love you, and you official.
Mhm.
But come on now,
Why not?
you gotta stop. You gotta stop.
Why not?
Cause
Who better than me?
it's people. I can't really say because I don't know they day-to-day living, but I'm sure
What is that?
the
Wait.
pastors that I
What is that?
follow.
What is that noise in the back?
Do it sound like a click?
Yeah.
Is it like clicking noise? That's my
Yeah.
blinker. Hold on, let me turn it off.
Oh, okay. Okay, so go ahead. So who you know? Who you
Yeah,
know
cause
that's better than me?
I follow Geno Jennings. He's official.
You talking
I'm
about the
sure he
pastor?
can. Yeah,
I like
I'm
Geno
sure he can
Jennings,
hold his
but he
own
not
with
better
you.
than me.
How you figure that, man?
Cuz who better than me?
Listen, what's your standard of why you feel that you're in that order?
Because I'm the best literally walking on this earth as far as that's moving in righteousness, that's doing it the right way, and being an open book and example for how it is that you're supposed to live your life and still be successful as a result
And I
of it.
feel the same about Geno. He's
No, see
successfully
you
married.
missing it. You missing it, bro. You
All
missing
right,
it.
what you saying?
You supposed to feel the same about yourself.
Oh no, see, I'm not living all the way according to scripture.
No. Listen. A king is supposed to feel like and live like and be a reflection of what he proclaims himself to be. So I'm always going to
Yeah, but
be better than everybody because that's the way that's the thing that I'm trending towards. That's the thing that I work towards every day. When I wake up in the morning, I said that I'm going to be the best human being on the face of this earth that's breathing today. If you don't feel like you him, then that means you got work to do. Because every day you're supposed to put everything you can. The words say live every day like it's your last. How and Jesus said that you're gonna do greater things than me. He also says,
Right.
"Be ye therefore perfect." So if that's not what I'm working on every day, and I don't believe that, then what am I doing? I'm living a lie. What are you here for? You a man, you a grown man, and you saying you're not giving your all every single day. You supposed to feel like you better than me. So if you able to come up here and you able to say, Anton, I don't believe that you the greatest man on earth, you ain't supposed to be naming another man. You supposed to be naming yourself. I was expecting
But
for
you
you to
just asked
say,
me.
I was expecting for you to say, nah, I'm Will. Will is better than you. And then you were supposed to
I would be
substantiate that with your lifestyle.
exactly. I can't do that. That's what I'm saying.
So then I'm better than
So
you.
why would I bring?
So do you admit that I'm better than you?
If we talking about like what standards are you saying you
Whatever
better than me?
standards you want to use. Am I better than you? Acknowledge my kingship then.
I'm not gonna say that, man.
No, don't
I'm
let
not
your
gonna say
pride
that.
get ahead of you. Acknowledge my kingship. At least tell me
I'm
that
not
I'm
gonna
him.
say you better than me, bro.
Why I ain't better than you? Now you want to think that you that. Don't let me talk you into feeling better about yourself.
You're not gonna talk to me about none of that. Cause I ain't never said you was better than me. I try to name someone that was
So you
than
better
you
than Pastor Geno then.
According to walking in the way of the scriptures and how we're supposed to walk.
I walk it.
That's what I'm naming.
I walk it.
You walk it.
Absolutely. And he also say be a good steward
Right,
over the things that you get. The Bible is also a financial resource. It gives you example after example of how you're supposed to manage your resources as money. It gives you examples of how you're supposed to leave a legacy as far as leaving an inheritance for your child. It gives you an example of how you're supposed to do it the right way. What part of this am I not the greatest ever in? Will, where you at, big dog? There you go. You got to unmute yourself, Will. Will, you got to unmute yourself. Will, you there?
You can hear me?
Yeah,
Hello?
I can hear you now. What happened, Will? You got a phone call?
Yeah, somebody. All right, now what you were saying? Say that again.
Will, who better than me?
Yeah,
as
you
far
can
as
hear me?
walking in the scriptures
Oh,
and real life.
that's what I'm saying. That's why I said I named who I named.
Are you better than me?
Why you keep flipping it, dog?
Because I need to understand where your mindset is. Are you better than me?
man, stop it, man. You can't play these Jedi mind tricks with me,
Are
man.
you better
You
than me?
flipping it.
I'm not flipping it. I said,
You
listen.
I ain't never said
I
you.
stand on what I
You
stand
asked
on,
me.
even to the point where I said, send y'all favorite pastors to come holler at me. I will show up at their church and show them what a real Christian is supposed to be like. I walk very, very, very
that.
steadfast in my walk with God. I am very, very boastful in how it is that I operate as a Christian. I am unapologetic, and I am willing to deal with whatever come my way because I know that God got my back. Who can stand in front of me and survive?
Wine. Okay, when the scripture says wine is a mocker and strong drink is raging, are you telling me you don't drink?
I don't.
You don't drink.
I don't drink.
Bro.
I don't drink. I don't smoke. I don't do any of that. Anything else?
I don't believe you.
I don't care if you believe me. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I don't do any of that. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I never have. I never will. I am not a person that drinks. I don't do that. Anything else?
So you haven't drunk an alcoholic beverage?
Yeah, I have. I have drunk an alcoholic beverage in my life, but I don't drink. I am not a person that drinks regularly. I am not a drunkard.
Okay. We're not talking about regular. Is there any alcohol that you've ever consumed?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what it says when you drink. All right, then. That's what I'm saying.
That does not mean perfect, that. You taking the word out of context.
All right. What does it mean?
Listen. The Bible does not speak against alcohol. It does not speak against alcohol.
Oh.
And as a matter of fact, what the Bible advocates for is to do everything. What's the word? Do everything within temperance. It advocates to do everything with temperance, right? So it doesn't mean that you can't have fun, right? But what it also means is, well, let's not go what it also means. Let's just say this: you don't know another man that is greater than me on the face of this earth.
All right, I'm gonna conclude that, man.
I'm better. So acknowledge my kingship.
No, I'm not. I'm not anti. Look, y'all subscribe to the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. And I rock with you, big dog.
Thank you, my dog. I appreciate you, Will.
All right, man. Take care.
Very rarely do I drink. Sometimes when I'm out of town or when I'm having a decent night and I'm chilling with my chick, I want to have a drink or two. You know what I'm saying? But in the general sense, nah, it's on dog don't drink. Joey, what up, Joey?
What's going on, my brother?
Chilling, my friend. What do you disagree with?
No, I don't disagree. I found you on YouTube, man, and your voice, your views are on point, man. And
Thank you,
I
my
like
friend.
how you put the pressure on these politicians. Nobody holds these people accountable. And you're what you say and what you walk in it and talking it, man. And I gotta give you credit for that, man.
Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you, Joey.
I'm telling you, man. Ever since I started listening to the Millionaire morning show, I'm very impressed with you, man. I really am, man.
That's what's up. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you.
And I'm retired at 40, so I'm doing pretty well.
Yeah,
I'm not
you
gonna
getting
tell you
to
that. Yeah. No, I'm not gonna tell you that you're better than me or I'm better than you, but I'm doing well for myself. That's all I'm gonna tell you. You know what I mean?
But no, what I tell people, see, what I say when I say that, I believe that every man is supposed to be his best self, right? So he's and if you say no, I'm the best, and I say no, I'm the best, that means that if we are together, right, or we are in the same vicinity with each other, then that means that we influencing each other positively, we pushing each other to be the best version of ourselves. I'm like, oh man, you doing greatness. Well, let me learn a little bit from you. We're supposed to be siphoning the good things from each other in order to continue to increase our value and to make ourselves the best version of ourselves. So if you don't believe that you are that great because you know that you're not doing the thing that you're supposed to do, that's a problem.
Right. I like to get value from people. You may know something I don't know, and I may take the best parts of you and try to incorporate it into things that I'm doing because you're doing something that I'm not doing.
Yeah, and likewise, the same thing.
What I would like is to hear more about You know, I want to hear more about you talk about financial stuff. I love that stuff, and I'm
That's what's
pretty
up.
knowledgeable. But I want to see where your mind is at.
Okay. Yeah, I'll deep dive into that a little bit more if that's what you want me to go into as far as the show is concerned. Absolutely.
I really, because you know.
You breaking up, big dog? Must have drove into a dead spot. You there? Joey. Joey, you there? Oh, man. Must have lost you. Joey, give me a call back, big dog. I see you frozen out here in these streets. You must have hit a dead spot, bro. Let's go into Glow Hardy. For people that disagree with me, somebody get up here. If you disagree with me, you are more than welcome to be able to join the platform. Glow. You there, Glow? Glow going once. Glow going twice. It's saying that Glow is muted. Glow going once. Glow going twice. Glow going once. Glow going twice. All right, Glow, I gotta let you go. Call back, big dog. Is it Jacquel? Jacquel? Is that what it
Yeah.
is? Am I pronouncing that right?
Hey, how's it going? Can you hear me?
What's going on, Jacquel? What do you disagree with?
Hey, what's going on, man? Long time no see. Met up with you and the wife at the New York Patreon.
Yeah, what's up, big dog? How you feel?
Feel I can't complain. Just
What do you
I
think?
do
What's
got
your
one.
thoughts?
It's not really a disagreement, right?
Okay.
It's just I'm trying to get more clarity.
Okay.
When you make the statement, you say that you can't learn from someone who is not successful, like successfully married, for example, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I have a little bit of pushback for that
Okay.
because I feel like a lot of people can they can learn from their mistakes,
Hmm.
and the experience is usually what you learn from.
Okay,
Fortunately
so
for
let
you,
me ask you a question then. If you learn from your mistake, then that means that you should have made the adjustment and now you're successful in it, right?
sorry, say that one more time.
If you've learned from your mistake, then that means that you should have made the adjustment and now you're successful in it, right?
Right.
So then their life will be a reflection of what success looks like in that particular thing, right?
That's right.
So why doesn't that literally define or describe a person that is successful that you should take advice from?
Well, that's the end result, right? But in the for example, like in the book of Ecclesiastes, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, no.
He
Translate it into real life. Give me a real life example that's a reflection of what it is that you about to use
well,
as an
the book of
example.
Ecclesiastes is based. That's a true story, though.
But translate it into real life as far as how it's applicable today.
Okay, so the mistakes I've made. Can I use myself?
Yeah, you can use whatever you want. You want to be
Okay,
on
so
camera?
no, I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good. So the mistakes I've made myself, I was able to help others not
In
make that
what way?
mistake.
Be specific.
Marriage, for one.
Okay.
So I was raised with a tradition, just like you.
Mm-hmm.
The man takes care of everything. The wife, she takes care of the home.
To an extent.
By any
But
means
go ahead.
necessary.
I got you.
Yeah. So by any means necessary, doesn't 2-3 jobs, you're gone, whatever. Take care of the home. But I didn't have an example, right? I went according to the Bible. I wasn't the most proficient, but I went according to that. So I made a lot of mistakes. I made
Mm-hmm.
a ton of mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
And the generation before me and the generation before that didn't have that type of example either. It was more like an arranged marriage situation.
Okay.
So I made a lot of mistakes. And with those mistakes that I've made, I can't take back what I've done. I can just try to do better with everything else moving forward. But I do share that experience with other people, and they
Why?
actually glean off that.
You share what experience with other people?
Like my experiences, the choices that I've made that were not good. And I
I,
always tell them, I always preface it and say, listen, I'm not going to tell you what to do because you're a grown man.
but
But
what do you say? What do you say? You just say what you did wrong, or do you say what you say what they should do? Because it's a
well,
difference.
well, a lot of young men and older men, they usually come to me with stuff. That I'm someone who I'm not afraid to read my Bible anywhere I'm at.
But it still
So
should be a translation in a real life. Listen, the Bible is a guide. It's literally it's a guide. It's a blueprint for how you should live your life, right? But the implementation of it is what they should be seeing. So they should be able to see the God in you. They should be able to see the spirituality aspect of what you've learned in the Bible being implemented in real life. And then that's the thing that you
well, that's what they do see. I
okay,
don't.
so then that means that you have the successes based off of the mistakes that you've made and learned from as far as your relationships that you've had previously, right?
All right, I'll put it in a different perspective.
No, you got to answer it.
Well, I'm going to,
Okay, go ahead.
and yes, I do, but I'm gonna put it in a different perspective. The Bible is a book that was made so that you can learn when you read, and so that you don't have to go through the mistakes yourself. Correct?
No,
So the Bible wasn't written for man
it wasn't.
to
It's
learn
not there so
from.
that you don't go through the mistakes.
It has it has several purposes, but one of the main purposes is so that you can not do the thing that's not in your best interest, right?
Not necessarily.
So the Bible
It's
says
a
you
book to
should
give
do
you
this.
it's a book to give you understanding as to why you're going to make the decision that you're making. It's a guide. That's why it tells you to get understanding, right? Look, understanding is the foundation behind why it is that you read and what it is that you read. It's the reason why you read any book, not just the Bible. It's the reason why you read any book. You read something in order to gain understanding, in order to glean as to why it is that you should be doing something. The why is what matters. Even the Bible itself says it rains on the unjust and the just and the unjust. It says word for word, if you don't suffer with me, you're not going to reign with me. A lot of that is not saying that you're going to be perfect. You're not going to read the Bible at 5 years old and then lead and you know what I'm saying, and just be 100% perfect with your decision making throughout the rest of your life. That's not what it's for. It's not to tell you what not to do. It's to give you the guide as to how to respond to it. Things are going to happen to you. You're going to fall. You're going to make mistakes. It's things that you don't know. You're going to try to start a business and you're not going to have the insight into it, and you're going to learn from your mistakes in order to be able to become a better business owner going forward. But did you do it the right way when you failed? When you
No,
tried
I
to start that,
understand that.
you see what I'm saying?
I,
So
under,
it's like,
I
it
understand that. It's just that point that you're making right now isn't really. I didn't make that last statement and put an exclamation mark on it. It wasn't a statement. It was more of a question. You know
okay.
what I mean? So it's like we're supposed to be in our own walk, our own journey, right? We're going to learn because we don't all walk at the same pace. We don't all grow at the same pace. So the Bible, when I said that it's for that reason, what not to do, what I was basically saying is it's something that you have to learn from. It's God's written word.
Mm-hmm.
Not, it's everyone's going to make that mistake from not following it. Some people may not get the right understanding. Some people may have more difficulty following through with what's being under what was written, which is why you're also supposed to ask the Holy Spirit to guide you. But what I'm saying is the book that you have, and it says in the Bible that one day you're going to open that book and there's not going to be any written document, anything written in there. The doors of the church are all going to be closed. It says the things in Revelation. So it's like your personal walk is going to be a personal walk,
But let's hold
right?
on. I don't want you to get distracted because I got some other people waiting. Let's go back to learning from other people. Okay. So are you saying that here's the problem what I have from learning from other people? The reason why it's important to be a reflection of it and to be successful before you start to teach it is because people don't know what they don't know. So literally you can go and talk to anybody and they can say, well, I'm going to depart this wisdom on you based off of my own life experiences or the things that I've been through. But that don't mean that they're giving you the right advice. You don't know if they're giving you good advice. You don't know if they're giving you bad advice. All you know is that they're giving you advice. The success allows for you to be able to separate those that's giving you good advice from those that's just talking. So is it possible that somebody can give you a good advice that's not necessarily successful in it, but that they went through it? Yeah. But you have a greater chance at actually getting the right advice from the right person if they're a reflection of it. That's the problem that I have with people that just give advice.
Okay, I agree. So that's pretty much all I had. That little bit of pushback with that because I've helped a lot of people simply with just the things that I went through in my life. I've gone through experiences that older people have gone through, and I'm much younger than they are, and I've helped a lot of people.
Yeah, that's
So
dope.
I'm not
I'm
perfect.
speaking in general. I'm not speaking to you specifically. So
I know. That's it, pretty much. I rock with you with everything. I really like your mindset in regards to taking an approach from a business perspective on everything in life because it makes things very cut and dry.
Yep.
Very
I
clear.
appreciate that, big dog. Thank you, my friend.
So, all right, thank you. Greetings and blessings. God
Thank you,
bless
bro.
you, your wife,
God
your
bless you,
family.
man.
And I pray for your continuous success. Oh, I am a bat
Likewise,
chaser.
bro.
You know that.
Yeah, I know who you are. Yeah. All right, big dog.
All right.
Let me get Glow in here.
Oh man.
All right, hold on. All right, Glow. Glow, what you disagree with?
I don't disagree with nothing. I'm honored to be on the show, man. Like I look, everything that you talk about, like I'm listening and I resonate so deeply because it's like when you're hearing all of the disconjointed arguments of a lot of people and society as a whole, you gravitate towards things that kind of fulfill that sanity that you need, that need for sanity.
Yep.
I didn't really get up here to like disagree with you. I just wanted to, praise your kingship, bro. Like,
thank you, man. I
Jesus,
appreciate you.
I don't see nobody else doing. I don't see nobody doing. I'm low key here to ask the question, like, what, like, who else do you see doing what you doing, bro? Like, you got a high paying 9 to 5. You got multiple properties. You got multiple business assets. You got a platform. Nobody is touching you, bro.
Here's the thing, though. Hold on. Here's the thing, though, Glow. The question that you have to ask yourself is, considering that I'm just a regular everyday dude from Detroit, right? You're much more likely to be successful than I am. It's just a matter of being intentional. It's not even about me, right? Who I am is just an example as to why you should be beating me. There's no reason why you should not be way better than me. There's no reason why you should not be greater than me. So if I'm outworking you or I'm more intentional than you, that should not be. No way in the world. You got to beat me. And I want you to beat me.
I see what you're saying.
I think you could be 10 times more successful than I am. I think that you can be 10 times greater in your relationships to me. I think that you're a lot smarter than me, all of that. But you got to do it. You got to do the work.
Hey, Anton, man, I sent in that, man, I am dying for your mentorship, bro. Like,
you sent me an email?
bro. Yes, I did. I sent it about like 3 weeks ago. Like, I'm that young, that young high earner that you were. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. All right, cool. Okay, I got you on the list. I definitely gonna tap in with you, big dog.
I appreciate that.
Thank you, my
please
friend.
keep doing what you're doing.
All right, thank you, bro. I appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
All right, Frank, I'm coming to you next, big dog. Let's see what we got here. Frank, what up, big dog? What's the word? What do you disagree with?
It's more or less not really a disagreement, but trying to gain clarity on something. The Monday show with Q that you did recently when you was challenging Red Pill on with Jeezy had y'all different viewpoints on what makes a man or what makes somebody less of a man. I know that you did.
I don't remember what the conversation was, but okay, go ahead. I remember the show, but I don't remember the conversation that we were having. But go ahead.
No, that's cool. I just wanted to ask you personally, just from your perspective. So, what to you makes somebody less of a man? What makes a man less of a man in your eyes?
A lot of things. I think that somebody becomes less of a man when they lean into their femininity, when they become a woman. I think that a person is less of a man when they poison a community. I think that somebody is less of a man when, um, people are dependent on them, and they put them in a position to where they saying that you need to depend on me, and they intentionally let them down. So, I mean, I think it's a lot of different examples that you can use, but I don't think it has anything to do with how much you earn at that particular time. I don't think it has anything to do with how you live your lifestyle. I think a man is a man. The problem with a lot of people is that they keep getting confused what their standards are, and they're applying it to other men, right? So if you a person that believes differently than me, that don't make you any less of a man, right? That just means that we got differences of opinion of how it is that we think that success is looking like, right? I think that men challenge each other, men push each other, they learn from each other. But I only think that the only thing that I can think of that makes you less of a man is when you do something intentionally to harm somebody else, and it's not fruitful at all. That's it.
No, I got you. So, I have a slightly variation of what you just said. So, I want to ask you what you think about this on my end.
Okay.
So, just like you said, different men have different points of view, different opinions about things. But I think the one underlying thing that is going to, once again, stay consistent and keep you as a man is if you hold yourself accountable as one. Like, it's one thing to just do anything, but I don't think if you hold yourself to anything, like if you say you a thief and you stand on it, I can actually call you a man, even though we don't agree.
No,
Well, what you think about that?
that's just telling the truth. Being honest don't have nothing to do with whether or not you're a man or not. Women can tell the
So,
truth. That don't make them a man.
okay, so what's the second layer? Because I'm trying to basically gain clarity on what you said on Monday night show. So what do you think? What's your thoughts on that?
I don't remember I don't remember the conversation that we had on Monday night. It's
It was
real
basically
vague as to what you're saying. You know what I'm saying? You making it real general. You got to give me an example and then ask me to expound on it.
okay. You was challenging Red Pill on, like you said, cheating, for example. I think cheating doesn't make you a man or something like that.
No, I didn't say that.
No, 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 not you in
Jeezy said to
particular.
Nia Long that real men don't cheat.
Okay.
And
So
then I
what's your
think
thought?
what he was saying was Jeezy was weak for saying that. And I was saying he
Okay.
was less of a man, I think, than saying that. And then I think that I said that don't make him less of a man. That just mean that he probably telling Nia Long what she want to know in order to bust her down.
Okay. So okay. No, I get what you're saying. Okay, I got the clarity on that then. Okay. So basically, you agree. Well, you may disagree, but you don't think it makes him less of a man to say that real men don't cheat.
Mm-mm. That's his opinion.
Okay.
Why does that diminish his manhood just because he got a difference of opinion?
No, I agree with you on that one. I'm like I said, I'm just gaining clarity on certain things just to make sure it is what it is. Okay.
Yeah,
So,
I'm not gonna say he ain't no man. Like I don't. It's too many other factors that go into what makes a person great or what makes a person a man to diminish somebody just based off of their opinion about cheating. I'm not gonna say that. I'm not gonna say he ain't no man.
all right. So if he does cheat, and well, what would be I would say the parameter for if he is cheating? What in your eyes keep him? I would say a man per se.
What do you mean?
Like if he's a cheater, if Jeezy on the one hand says that real men don't cheat, for
I
you,
need to
what
know
is
the context behind what is he saying. Is he talking about guys that's in a relationship? Is he talking about a guy that's in a marriage? Is he just telling her that in order to be able to make her feel good because it makes the conversation keep going forward? You know what I'm saying? As far as what they was recording, the context is what matters. Like I'll give you an example. People will say, well, real men don't cheat. Well, I don't believe it's cheating if you're not married. You see what I'm saying? Like we
So
have
it's
different
your
standards. If
intention.
you just in a relationship, and somebody and you get in with somebody else, ain't nobody cheating on you. You're not married. So that's what I'm saying. The context matters, and you have to get a foundation before you start to debate whether or not somebody is standing on something or somebody is wrong about something. But it just depends on the context by which he was speaking.
Okay, so basically, it's just about but what's your ultimately your intention for saying what you said, basically. Like what that's basically what you're saying.
About what? To who? You talking about to the red pill
About
guy?
no, about what goes into what makes a man or not on what you say. Like once again, there's one thing to say, like you just said about cheating. Real men don't cheat. You brung up like the intentions on why he could be saying that. That's the context on like the variables on what actually makes him a man or not. So if he really believes that to you, that's what's going to make him a man, I guess. But if he's just saying
He
that
need
because
to figure out what make him what what I'm saying, what make him him. My standards is probably different from his standards based off of how I live my life. And so I don't think that you can diminish a man's manhood unless he does something really, really big and intentional to say that's basically indicating that he don't want to be a man. You still are. Listen, here's the key. You still responsible and you still held accountable from society's standards as a man. If you go out and you do something that you're not supposed to do, you go into a man's prison, right? If you slap a chick, you're gonna get arrested like a man. You know what I'm saying? If you get into a confrontation, you're gonna get your ass kicked like a man, or you're gonna have to fight a whole man. You know what I'm saying? So it's up to you to determine what pathway you got to take in order to substantiate your manhood. But I think it's disrespectful to tell a man that he ain't a man because he cheating or anything like that. His standards ain't your standards. He don't go by the same thing that you go by. Even Paul himself in the Bible thought that he was doing the right thing when he was persecuting the saints. It took for God to open up his eyes and help him to realize that, no, you're not doing the right thing, but I need you to do this differently. But it didn't mean that he was any less of a man. It means that God recognized the greatness in him and then allowed for him to be able to come over to his side to do what it is that he's doing now that he has a better education of what it takes in order to be in the kingdom of God. He thought he was doing the right thing. He stood on what he
okay,
stood on. I
so
don't think
so
that
okay,
Paul was
so,
any less of a man. I think that Paul was very much a man.
okay, so in the context of just cheating, like I'm following you. The context of cheating, right? You think what
Why are you
makes a
caught up on this
man
cheating thing?
Oh no, I'm basically trying to stick to it. 'Cause it was like the primary thing is what Jeezy said, and the fact that you were saying certain things don't diminish what makes another man. Trying to keep the point like linear, just to keep it simple in a way. But in the context of cheating, for example, would you say that
And
he's still a
I gotta
man?
move on to the next caller after this. But go ahead.
I got I got you. So you say he's still cheating. Would you say that he's still a man if he cheats but acknowledges that what he did was wrong? Or
I
would you
don't
say
believe
he
that the standards that most people have for cheating, I don't share I don't share that same
Okay,
thinking.
no, okay, so I remember your standards. He's married, for example,
Uh-huh.
and then he cheats and he acknowledges that what he did was wrong as opposed to just not taking accountability for it and then just moving on with it like nothing happened. Would you say he's more of a man for, I would
I don't
say,
think that
taking.
anybody is more of or less of a man, regardless of what he did. I don't think he's any less of a man. No. I wouldn't say a man is less than a man.
Okay, I got you then. All right, I got you. I'm out, Anton.
All right, big dog. I appreciate you. Let me see. Is it Sieges? I think it's Sieges. Let me go ahead and come to you next, big dog. Give me a second. What up, big dog?
What's up, man?
Chilling, my friend. What's up? Let me get you. You want to be on the screen or no?
Yeah, I can be on the screen. I'm cool with it. You know what I mean?
What's up, big dog? How you feel, man?
Good with you.
Chilling. What's the word, bro?
Not a whole lot. I really ain't got too much to disagree with you on. It's only one aspect I disagree with.
Okay.
Religion. Well, I think we spoke about this a little bit on the Monday night. I think that's the only thing really I disagree with. Religion.
What? Okay.
But
What do you
everything else is
disagree
on
with?
point.
What part do you disagree with?
I don't believe in none of it
Why not?
because I have no proof of it.
So you don't believe in it, So you disagree with the belief in religion in general?
I wouldn't necessarily say the belief in it. I think it's a good control mechanism to control the mass amounts of people.
I would say you do believe in it.
How you figure?
Because you abide by it without you even knowing it.
As far as how?
You obeying the laws of the land, ain't you?
Nah, I wouldn't say that has to do with religion. That's more so I don't go to jail.
No, it has everything to do with religion because it was established by the church. The very laws, the foundation and the laws of the country that you abide by is based off of the rules of the church.
I get it. I get what you're saying. But as far as following it, as far as like
you follow it, you just don't know it.
No, I don't believe in none of that. I don't believe in God and all of that. I don't believe in none of that stuff, huh?
The basis by which you live your life is all standards that was set for you. You follow it without even knowing that you're following it.
No, I don't.
Do you think it's wrong to kill somebody?
Depending on what they did.
Just they didn't do nothing. They didn't do nothing. They didn't do nothing. They didn't do nothing.
I personally think that's wrong. Yeah, to do it.
Where did you acquire that moral compass from?
I guess being raised to, know right from wrong.
By who?
My upbringing, my parents, family.
And where did they get it from? Because remember, everything that we know is a learned behavior. So whether you know it or not, you're being controlled. So the very thing that you said is that it's used as a mechanism in order to control people. You're a part of that very same matrix. You're abiding by it, you're embracing it, you're living it, you're doing it, even if you don't necessarily say that you agree with it. You literally do because your life is a reflection of it.
I get it. I get what you're saying. But I still don't believe that there's this invisible man in the sky that's controlling everything, and you talk to him and he'll do whatever you need him to do and all. I don't believe in none of that.
Why? Because you don't have any evidence?
Correct.
So you need to see something in order to believe in it.
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily. People try to say I'm atheist. I'm not an atheist. I'm more of agnostic than atheist. I'm not on the so far to the left to say, oh no, there's absolutely no God and none of that. I'm just saying, if there is, show me, prove it. What's his phone number? Like,
all right, cool. All right, so let me give you an example. Do you believe in George Washington? Do you believe that he ever existed?
Yeah, I believe it's possible. I mean, there's a little bit evidence that he existed.
What evidence?
I personally haven't seen him. I'm more willing to believe that he did than he didn't.
Wait, what evidence? You don't have no evidence.
The pictures and stuff they got. That's what they say George Washington is, right?
So you believe in something that somebody else told you?
No, somebody actually showed me a picture. I've seen
they showed
pictures
you
of
a
this
picture
person
that they took of George Washington?
Yeah.
When? Who took a picture of George Washington?
Art. The artist.
Art is an interpretation by somebody else that drew it. They give art. Listen, when you go to church, they have art of Jesus. What's the difference?
I don't believe in him either.
So, but you do believe in George Washington. You believe that George Washington.
Yeah,
wait. You have no evidence other than what somebody else told you that George Washington existed.
And the things that he's done and stuff like that, that's evidence.
What has he done? How do you know that he's done anything? You have no evidence? You have nothing. You have no way to be able to prove this.
George Washington, what did he do? He said, yeah, you know what I mean?
You heard it? What did they got a recording of it?
Yeah, they it's in the archives.
You heard a recording
secret archives in the government.
You heard a recording of George Washington.
Yeah.
But do you see how silly this sounds? You have no evidence outside of what somebody else told you, but you pick and choose what you want to believe in based off of what?
Evidence.
No, you don't have no evidence. You have zero evidence.
Okay. You're right. That I could be swayed either way, whether he existed or didn't exist. Okay, I give you the George Washington thing.
Here's my point.
I'm more likely to believe.
No. It's not about convincing you. I'm showing you where the hypocrisy lies with people that say that they don't believe anything based off of evidence. But here's the truth, though.
Mhm.
If a woman comes through this door right now and she sticks her tongue out at me, but she not on camera, and then she walks back out, and then I say, man, a woman just came in here and stuck her tongue out at me, and she walked back out. It takes a level of faith in order for you to actually believe that that happens, but it doesn't mean that it didn't happen. It could have happened plain as day, but it doesn't mean that for you that you have to believe in it, but it doesn't remove the fact that it's true. So this is the thing about spirituality, right?
Mhm.
In the same way, just because you don't believe in it does not mean that it's not real.
I can believe that. I can agree with that. Just because I don't believe it doesn't mean it's not real. And I'm not saying that there is no God. I'm just saying
So
I
here's
want somebody to prove it to me.
for what? Why should they prove it to you?
Because I'm not going to blindly believe or follow something
What do
if I
they
don't
get out of
believe,
it?
if I don't
What
know
do they
it's
get
true.
out of it? What do they get out of proving it to you? Why should I prove that God exists? Why what do I get out of it?
What do you? I mean, nothing that really.
That's for you to
Right.
determine, to figure out. That's not for me to try to convince you.
But it's one of those things where people talk about it and they say, oh, God did. Okay, well, you can't tell me that this person did this, but you're not proving to me or showing me that he exists. Like, how do you expect me to
God is
listen to
not
that?
to be proven. God is to be revealed. That's what people don't understand. Listen, if God wanted to prove himself to people, then he would have left something for you to actually understand that he is real, evidence-based. He didn't. That's the very definition of faith. Faith is the belief in something that you can't necessarily substantiate. You believe, for example, that your mama probably did the right thing before you was born, but you have no evidence of it, but you going based off of what somebody else told you.
Right.
My point
That's
is
what I
this:
believe.
God is not to be proven. God is to be revealed. And so, if God sees fit in order to reveal whatever it is to you, it's still going to be up to you to believe that it's real, no matter what. So I
So
don't try to convince people that God is real. I just be a reflection of what it is to show people, and then they could take it for what it is or not. I'm never going to try to convince nobody ever.
Let me ask you this then: if there was proof, I'm talking about concrete proof that God didn't exist, would you still believe in God?
How? How is there concrete proof?
I'm just saying. I don't know if they actually had proof that it was all made up, it was all a lie. Like some, I don't know, they come up with some,
Absolutely
I
not. I
don't
wouldn't
know,
believe it.
hidden archives that have been hidden from population for ages. That oh
Mhm.
yeah, we made all of this up. You still wouldn't. You still would believe?
Absolutely.
Really? Even with evidence to prove that he
Because
doesn't
I
exist.
have my own personal evidence to prove it otherwise.
Okay.
I've seen real life miracles in real life. I've heard the voice of God. Like nobody can provide evidence to the contrary because I know where God lies and what it exists, and I've heard the voice of God. You can't convince me otherwise because my own evidence proves it otherwise, even if I can't necessarily show it to you. That's why I say God is to be revealed. It's not necessarily to be proven.
Well, I guess he never showed himself to me.
Maybe you need to ask for a little bit more clarity.
I need solid evidence. Like I don't need nothing vague. Oh yeah, well yeah, that's God. No, it just happened. I need something solid for me to
Well,
believe it.
I hope that work out for you. Because if
But
it
yeah,
don't, because if it don't go that way, and you play Russian roulette, and you end up on that
and if
other
I'm
side,
wrong, then yeah,
and you on that other side, well, then you taking a calculated risk. Then that's all I'm gonna say.
yeah. If I'm wrong, then it's gonna suck for me in the end.
I agree. So you got to make your own decision. That's up to you.
You're right. You're right. I'm willing to take that chance.
God bless you. God bless you.
Hey,
Oh, God bless you.
yeah. But I ain't gonna hold you up too much. I know you got a lot of other people trying to
Hey,
get up
man,
on
I
here. But
love your
Monday, hey,
sieges, bro. You a good guy, man. Thank you for coming on the platform on Monday, too, bro.
you know, man, I'm always here every day. I'm listening to you while I'm at work, man.
I appreciate you,
And
big dog. Well,
No
remember, you're
problem, brother.
listening to a guy that believes in God, so you got to take my opinion
Hey,
with a grain of salt.
like what you just said. Like what you just said. Take the meat and spit out the bone, right?
That's true. I did say that too. That is true, big dog.
I ain't
Hey
gotta agree
man,
with everything you
you a
say,
good
but you
dude
do
though,
say
bro. I
some shit.
love you, bro. You a guy. You a
Yo,
good
bro.
guy, man.
Make sure you tell Q to put me back on Monday, man. I feel as though I ain't talking enough on Monday.
All right, I'm gonna put a word in their ear.
Good
People don't
looking out,
believe
brother.
that Q is actually the one that control what happens on Monday.
Yeah, I know. Man, I think she was talking about me when she said people keep hitting her up. I was like, man, you bluffing, because I was hitting her up for a minute.
Nah,
I'm like,
I
you
don't
gonna
think
put
she
me on the
talking
show?
about you. She talking about it's a lot of people that hit her up. It's a lot of
Mhm.
people that reach out to her.
Yeah, man. I was like, man, what are you taking so long? What's taking you so long? I was like, and then I see other people. I'm like, you put this nigga on here? Like, what you damn on for?
Yeah, I got you. I'll let her know. I'll put a word in for her.
All right, good looking out, bro. And I want to get up with you too. I got send you an email because I gotta I'm
You
trying to
from
get my YouTube
Baltimore.
channel correct. Yeah, yeah.
I can hear it all
Baltimore,
in
baby.
your voice.
Baltimore.
I can
You know what
hear
I
it
mean?
all in your voice. You from Baltimore. Oh
Yes,
man,
sir.
you sound just like Snoop from The Wire.
Yeah. Everybody always say that. Even when I go out DC, they be like, man, say two, say two. I mean, shut up,
Yeah,
man.
yeah,
Everybody
you
says
sound
two.
just like, I don't know what the heck happened in Baltimore where y'all all talk the same. I don't know what the heck
It's
that is,
weird,
bro.
bro. I don't, and the crazy part is, I hear it when I hear it because we got some people that's like their accent is strong.
Yeah.
And I be like, man, what the hell he just say? I be questioning what they say. What is he talking about? I mean, they strong, like straight from Baltimore, like they like the
Yeah.
original.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
don't know what they be talking
I ain't
about.
visited Baltimore yet. I'm gonna have to come see that. See what's
And you ain't
happening.
missing nothing. You good. You don't need to come down here.
Nah, I need to
Ain't
see
nothing
for
to-
myself, bro, because Baltimore got some good parts that people don't talk about.
Like
Y'all
what?
do. Out there by the water, man. Y'all got some good parts, man.
What are you talking about? I hope you ain't talking about. Hope you ain't talking about the harbor.
What's
All
wrong
them
with the
dead bodies
harbor?
and bikes and shit they got in there. Them damn hover around scooters they got in there. That shit is a landfill. Guns and all types of stuff in that damn water.
Oh man. All right, see
Damn
just
juveniles messed the harbor up, man.
oh my God. All right, big dog. Let me get out of here.
All right, bro. But like I said, I'm hit you up in your email about that YouTube channel because I got like a real good idea, but I need your expertise on it.
All right, bet. That's a bet.
All right, bro. Be safe, man.
All right, my friend. All right, so that's all we got. That's everybody. I thank y'all for tapping in. Let me read some of the super chats because I want to acknowledge the people that support the platform. Shout out to Tiege Hanley, 30% off your first order plus a free gift. David Williams says Diddy got too many accusations against him for me not to believe her, and I don't believe all women either. You never hear this ish about Jay-Z or Dr. Dre. Shout out to David Williams. Shen C says this reads like a Tyler Perry script. I agree. A.K. Harrison says, take that. Jay Ben says, I need Carisha to blink 6 times if she's okay. Dave Williams says, that male worker somewhere not in agreement saying, slay, queen, slay. Oh, my God. Queen V says, sounds like Diddy get bored with F bad boy. Shaking my head. Myron Webster in the building says, when the money dry up, the lies leak out. You dig? Daryl Pullins is in the building. Says, Anton, it seemed to me like Cassie for the streets. Man, she is. She for the streets. Jake Fevers, it's going to be somebody that saved. Oh, she got a husband. Yeah, somebody saved her, though. Jake says, this is just so you can say freak off again. Time Out is in the building, says, is she asking for him to go to jail or half of his net worth to help her? Net worth. It's all about the money, baby. AL says, this makes him sound like a Bond villain. Yikes. Right. Out there with the pistol, running out for Suge Knight. Marcus X says, left Ryan Leslie for Kinky Puff. Husband can't afford her lifestyle. Statute of limitations run out next week. Husband probably put her up to sue. Wild. Ain't that crazy? The statute of limitations. Knobs is in the building, says, Diddy gonna start a new business. Forget OnlyFans. OF. We talking freak. Yo, I'm about to literally go and reserve that Is Freak Off available? Let me see something real quick. Give me a second. I want to see something. I need to see if Freak Off is available. You can buy it right now, premium domain. For $3,400, you can buy freakoff.com. Diddy gonna start a new business. Shout out to you, Knobs. I appreciate you. Thank you for supporting the platform. Mars is in the building. Mars says NYPD just said they aren't investigating him and that it was an erroneous claim. It's not a criminal investigation. It's a civil suit. Latrell says this sounds like the movie Till Death Do Us Part. Myron Webster says, I got you, Time Dog. Let me throw this dollar in the collection plate. Queen V is in the building, says, I think they was freaks together. I agree. She went along for the money, the lifestyle. He beat her up because drugs, something serious, but money make black women do it all. I agree with you 100%. Jay Ben is in the building, says, so in my Maury voice, in the case of 2006 hit song And Me and You, the conclusion has been reached that in fact it was not just her and him. Hashtag yikes. The wealth building journey is in the building, says, and so now it might start to make sense why Ciroc didn't want to deal with Diddy. Makes a little bit more sense now. Maybe Ciroc knew something was coming. Well, they're not in a lawsuit now, so Diego ain't in the lawsuit. Cornell says every knee will bow, every tongue will testify. Facts. Bag for Bag is in the building, says, but AD, what I realize is that these people will do any and everything to you, from a stranger on the street to their mother in a house, for a dollar sign. Rich in materials, poor in spirit. Thank you, Bag for Bag, for continuing to hold me down. My dog 187 is in the building, says, shout out to the beautiful Christina Williams. Hold me down, so happy. I don't have F-boy problems. Agreed. Myron Webster says, is she tired of seeing him get money and women she want her fair share of being a BBC warrior? Hey, them accusations of him taking, oh man, that's crazy. Andy Crawford says it's definitely demonic. Trisha says, you are a truth teller. Your words help me in daily life. Thank you. Thank you, love. Mr. Youngblood City is in the building. Says, I'm a Rotary Club president. Rotarians live by the four-way test of things we say or do. Is it truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you, big dog. Jordan is in the building. Says, Anton, you're preaching. Also doing what nobody else is, changing lives, finding businesses, helping people, not only financially, but mentally, etc. The Bag Chaser family. Thank you, my dog, Jordan, in the building. Bam Bam Lynch says, confidence seems arrogant to lazy people. I'm him. Talk your talk, big dog. Freight Train Right, my dog. Says, I almost called in, but I don't disagree. I just want to say 15 days until I'm peak fighting lightweight champion. Use my promo code RIGHT. Right is in the building. My dog Freight Train Shane Wright is in here making an appearance. JPO7 says, disappointed in AD because after yesterday's show, I can't get that. It's hard. It's hard out here for a pimp when you're trying to get that money for the rent. Self-Made Forever says, Bag Chaser Friday. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. The link is in the description. And then Quick Octane says, missed most of the live, just showing some love. Go ahead and restream that, big dog. Go ahead and restream that. Get your love on. Not Diddy love, not brotherly love, but your own type of love, because I don't want you getting caught up in these streets, man. Let me drop the link to the Patreon in the chat for the people that may or may not have gotten the link and they can't find it in the description. Boom. There you go. I'm going to pin that to the top of the chat. Listen, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in to the Millionaire Morning Show, the greatest show on the face of this earth. I love you guys. You guys are absolutely awesome. Remember, the advice that I give on this show is just my personal opinion. It does not necessarily reflect the people that come up on a platform or YouTube themselves. We just going to continue to run it up, take care of it, and make sure that y'all absolutely positively are in a good space. I love you. I appreciate you. But I need you to do me one more favor before we get up out of here.